At least, no, we're waiting for it. Wait for it. Any second now. You can figure it out, YouTube. Maybe. And we're now live on YouTube, so we got that good stuff going on. So with all that kind of stuff, let's go ahead and hop in where we left off. For those who are not familiar with SnowRunner, it is lovingly or not so lovingly, jokingly referred to as Truck is Stuck Simulator as well. Generally, if you've ever played games like American Truck Simulator and Euro Truck Simulator, where you go, I would like to pick up cargo and take it here, it does kind of have that mechanic to it. The difference being, this is as if all the roads were terrible. I don't remember at all what we're doing. I do see that I'm very low on gas, so let's go get our gas taken care of real fast. Oh, right. I was bringing that crate down here, and I realized I needed to go the other direction, and I was like, oh, well, I'm not... It was late in the stream, so like, I'm not driving the whole way back up to the factory right now. So I gotta deal with that. But, so the gist of this game is you are dealing with an area that the roads are, for lack of better words, absolutely horrifically god-awful and terrible. The roads, they're bad. That's the gist of it. The roads, bad. Yeah, so that's what I'm trying to get to. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to help effectively with the recovery effort of the area when all the roads are awful. So it means, unlike American Truck Simulator, we got these wonderful highways and side roadways, and everything is chill and, you know, wonderful and peaceful and great. Instead, what you have is there is a road, question mark, that is completely overrun and swamped out, and you have your tires spin, and you go, please, please, just get a little bit of traction, that's all I need. And you grab your winch and try and use trees to, like, pull your vehicle back around. Oh, I didn't think this through. And all that sort of stuff. I probably should just reset this and get rid of the crane. But we're not playing at a super high difficulty or anything like that. I am very new to the game still. This is literally my first map that I have been playing on. The game is actually pretty long, but we are playing in Michigan. From what I've talked to a lot of the people who frequently play this game, apparently Michigan is one of the more liked maps. I always actually turn off the engine. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually take this down the hill because it's a giant trailer, and I'm going to try and turn it around. But yeah, so you do a lot of juggling around with, okay, it's a simulator, and it's not a puzzle game or anything. But it does have a lot of stuff that you kind of have to figure your way around, is the way I'll refer to it. Like, a lot of times the shortest road between two locations is not a very good road. Actually surprised people like the Michigan map so much. I haven't played the other maps, so I don't have a basis for comparing them. I mean, I've been pretty content with the map. But, like, for example, the Michigan map we're on, the story here is we're in, you know, somewhere northern Michigan, which is extremely rural. That's very foresty and mountainy with, like, little pockets of kind of rural, you know, rural support towns and all that. A little bit of agriculture up there for stuff like apples and whatnot. But what ended up happening is there was a bad flood that rolled through the area, knocked down some bridges, flooded out a bunch of the farmland and all that. And so you're going in trying to fix as many of the problems as you can. Like NW up or something looks like. NW up or something looks like. Yeah, no, from my understanding, it's one of the more liked maps. Like I said, I don't have anything to compare it against, so I don't really have a good answer as to why that is or anything like that. Northwest Upper Peninsula? Ah, gotcha. Yeah. Good old abbreviations. Unless people, it's like just commonly known, you might as well type it out, because you're gonna have to explain what the abbreviation is, so you literally just increase the number of characters you gotta type. Alright, so I can take that path across to the other side. I'm not going to take that one. I feel like that's the harder path. Realistically, I should be ditching the crane and bringing the truck without the crane to go over here. But I also am very lazy, and I don't really want to drive back to the garage to deal with that, so I'm going to just try and make it work. Alright. Now, there's a chance I'm going to have to pull some shenanigans on this hill right here. Because there isn't a lot of anchor points for me. It's actually going okay so far. So what I might do is I might drop the trailer behind, drive up ahead, grab the trailer with the winch when I've got better leverage, and then just pull the trailer to me. Because that does happen a lot. The physics for the mud is pretty interesting, pretty fun. It's got a lot of stuff that's realistic, and then it's got a lot of stuff that's not super realistic. Like, for example, if you put chains on your tires, it absolutely does horrifically bad in the mud. Whereas, you know, in real life, it's probably not the ideal solution, but it would still give you more traction. I'm thinking something northwest, but I don't know what's about. Yeah, and that's the whole thing. But yeah, no, this is, for those who don't know Michigan, you've got, the joke is if you're from Michigan and people ask you where you're from Michigan, you hold up your hand like this, and you go, I'm from here, and you point to where on your hand, because the southern part of Michigan, like, because there's two land masses, the southern land mass looks like a glove, people point there, and it's almost always pointing generally around the bend in your hand between your thumb and your forefinger, because that's where Detroit is. And the entire metro area around Detroit is where, like, 90% of Michigan lives. You get a little bit to the outside edge of the, like, the western coast of Michigan, there's also decent, but the moment you start going north, it very, very, very quickly becomes very rural, like, backwoods, Alaska backwoods, Canada, that kind of area, where you go out there. This is actually going incredibly smoothly. I was actually expecting to have to fight way more. I forgot we've done some work on this truck, and we got it better tires, a better engine, it's a better truck. Versus we were fighting with our starting truck because I just didn't want to spend the money in the game. Because I had no context to how important money was, so I was like, no, I must hoard it and sit on my dragon pile of cash. But yeah, and then you go to the North Peninsula of Michigan, and it is just straight up woods with, like, the tiny little patches of civilization here and there, which is true of a lot of those places. You go to Alaska, it's the same thing. Once you get away from, like, the very coast and all that, you go back in the woods, and it's just, you know, the occasional log cabin kind of place, and then, like, a little pocket of, you know, like, little teeny tiny ski resort with, like, surrounding supporting businesses and stuff like that. You just found the best shortcut. I've been taking that same shortcut every time. And delivered. So I'm going to start actually bringing those trailers back, which is something I've been really bad about doing and kind of getting myself punished for. So I'm going to bring that trailer back. Should be able to go this route. Man, that's the same shortcut I've been taking almost every single time we go to the factory. Oh, actually, you know what? We end up needing to grab stuff at the factory quite a lot. Let's leave this at the factory. This feels like an actually decent place to leave this. So I can bring this back, Alright, so what is our next objective? Can reset that. On this map, we have King of the Hill. Let's do that real fast. That's just gonna be take the Jeep. Alright, helps if I actually do this right. Alright, so they recommend I drive a Scout for this. So, looking at this, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that is not a Scout versus the Scout 800. Definitely sounds like a Scout. Let's get some all-terrain tires. Well, I mean, do I want the all-terrain tires or the off... Probably the off-road, right? I think I'm gonna go with those. We're not gonna need the snorkel here. I don't even know if the spare wheel does anything. Alright, so we got ourselves set up here. We can leave the garage. Alright. Hit us a roads from a napper? No problem. Yeah, so this one is just to reach a point on the map. But that's the kind of thing, is you have, like... We're gonna scare you today for sure. Well, to keep in mind that scare, just the way it works, that's an OBS. So I actually don't have, like, that pop over my entire screen. I haven't, like, I don't know if there's even a good way to do that. Because that's a UI layer that had to sit on top of the game. That's asking for stability problems. So I don't even know a good way to make that happen. That it wouldn't just break it. Because normally you'd click on the game, and then the game would take focus and put it on top. So that's an OBS thing. I still hear the giggle and all that kind of stuff. But it's not like it's jump scaring me kind of thing. And even then, I do deliberately not make it jump on the screen super fast and all that. Because it's more meant as just like a fun thing. Alright. Yeah, so I do like the Scout. The only downside I found of this vehicle is it is top-heavy, so it rolls very easily. Which is certainly a problem. But, compared to the Chevy truck we started with, I have found I really do like this vehicle the way it is. I can definitely see later on, when I've got some extra money sitting around, taking the time to switch vehicles to another Scout that's not as top-heavy. I also still find it amusing, the idea that you're doing this disaster recovery. This area has been really badly impacted by a natural disaster, and while you're doing it, there's someone who's like, "Hey man, it'd be really kind of cool if you could go to the top of that mountain. It's super dangerous and you really shouldn't do it, but you know, you should totally do it." And you're like, you know, we got more important things to do than to just go drive up a mountain, right? Like if I'm like repairing a satellite or, you know, satellite dish for getting communications reset up, sure. Absolutely, makes sense. But just to be like, hey man, it'd be pretty baller if you could just, like, you know, drive to the top of the mountain. Just, you know, don't wanna be mistaken for a wuss, right? It's just a weird thing. Oh, I hate that. There's a really steep downward hill, so it's like, oh yeah, we're probably gonna roll here. Yeah, if we get too far into that left edge, we're just right down the side of that, so. Alright. Or also it's like, it's a really good view. You should go up there. Okay, let me walk. I could check out the view on this borderline dirt trail on foot. Especially considering how dangerous the place is right now. They just suffered a whole bunch of mudslides and rock falls and all that stuff. You would definitely not want to go on these higher up trails and be like, yeah, I know this whole ground is like super duper unstable, but you know, let's go drive our Jeep up there. Let's see, you hate how Fallout 4 launched without the ability to give dog meat head pats? My opinion is crime. By public shaming to death. I mean, that was also an era where, like, we were just starting to get, like, the whole, you know, all the doggos, all the kitties need head pat. Means, you know, can I pet the animal? Alright. So we're almost up to the peak. I mean, obviously, again, this is video game logic. You know, the idea of why you're doing this is because challenge of doing this. That's, one of the games I can absolutely, look forward to is they have the next game in the series is going to be Expeditions. So instead of this game where it's, you know, get trailer, grab a bunch of steel beams, you know, bring those. Okay. So we have reached this peak, so we now need to go to the next peak. So I'm going to try to do is make great decisions and cut across to there. This is more than likely going to involve us rolling, by the way. Oh, let's also go here real fast and... So what I need to do is find a good spot that I can go down this cliff. And then we can use the winch as a way to keep ourselves from, you know, gravity assisting our way directly into a not running vehicle. Never mind. Ah, perfect. Well, that's fine. I figured that was coming, but that's okay. That was the most likely outcome anyways. We just skipped to that part. So in that case... we can go over here. Yeah, I'll probably go over here. It'll take the roadway up. Actually, that'll be a little bit easier. Okay. You should U-turn first. I honestly should have. I wasn't too worried. Like, I was actually planning just going off the side of the mountain. I realized I had, like, the boulders right in front of me. I'm like, oh yeah, we'll just... like, there's nothing for me to control the descent with. If I had a place I could control the descent in any kind of way, like where you're going through a forest where you can kind of, you know, use the winch, grapple a tree, like hold yourself moving a direction, then let it slide, then grapple the next tree, and just keep repeating the process. I found you can actually go down hilly areas, mountainy areas, relatively safely doing that. As long as you have something you can grapple to. I should just assume this thing's immortal. Because it can still absolutely get stuck. But that's only mostly in, like, this really soupy mud. Alright. Yeah, so we're just trying to do all the missions on the map. Most of the missions I have left are basically leave this section of Michigan and go to the road to the north. And I've completely held off doing any of that so far. So when we reach the next tile, I'm gonna have to explore, find the new, watchtowers to go look for the area, like, look for all the areas around and whatnot. See where I can potentially snag myself some new vehicles or whatever. And I shouldn't need gas when we get, you know, to make it there, but we're here. I see no reason not to grab it on the drive-by. I should have bought a vowel. Okay. Yeah, so you can see where this is all swamped out, and this is the major road going up and down.
Take a sip. What's the worst that could happen?
Okay. Yep, so that's our next destination, is just to reach the next peak, because the game's like, yeah, go climb mountains. Why? Because climb mountains. We don't need you to check anything, just go climb mountains, because, you know. Ooh, solid hit. That's right. I didn't want about 1/5 thing. You're suppressing your urge to backseat with absurdity? I don't get why people have so much difficulty not backseating games. Like, I have plenty of games that I have, you know, hundreds, thousands of hours in, you know, Path of Exile, Project Zomboid and all those. And I very genuinely, to me, like to just kind of watch people struggle. Not like in a mean way, but like, it's, to me, that's an interesting phase of the game I can never have again. Is, you know, making mistakes, learning. I mean, you can always make mistakes, but, you know, like, not knowing what you don't know kind of things. That it's fascinating for me to watch the learning process. Now, obviously, the person's like, I'm really struck and frustrated here. You know, like, it's not fun anymore. You know, by all means, I don't have a problem helping in that case. But, like, you know, like, that's what reasons, like, watching a new player play a game like Factorio, to me, is just absolutely fascinating. Because you can kind of actively watch the problem-solving process as it goes. Entirely your deal, just with very certain things. Well, yeah, but that's I'm basically saying, it's like, I get that there are people who they just really want to assist and have like, really? I went to turn to like grapple, and as a second too slow, you saw the camera twist. And unfortunately, that means I gotta start the path over. Which is the reason why a lot of people don't like this vehicle. For me, Of the vehicles I've had so far, remove cargo. What cargo are you gonna remove? Yeah, so it's upside down, you physically can't start the engine. Car tired. It's just an impulse. Yeah, so you love watching new factory plays. They open up so many possibilities on how to tackle problems. Exactly. Watching people solving problems in different ways is what I did. And what I did is interesting. Yeah, that's, let's actually look, because I haven't even looked at the scouts. Yeah, so that's what we own right now. The Hummer has an S-rank fuel consumption? Excuse me? Say what? That's in this scenario you kind of understand. If you're wanting to talk about the game and know about the game, you can probably be hard not to mention things you know. Yeah. Yeah, S-rank if you run an oil refinery. It's just one of those things you like scratch your head and you're like, really? I mean, that'd be an upgrade, but I don't think if we sold that we'd get enough back. That's fine. I'm just not taking the time I need to, and I'm being punished for it. Because the game will absolutely do that. What kind of truck was that? Right now we are in what's called a Scout 800. I don't know which that you're talking about. Yeah, it is a Scout 800. It's mostly the reason why people don't like it is exactly what just happened there, is it's top heavy, so it rolls easy. Like that's its major flaw. Is it doesn't have as much power as a lot of the other vehicles, so far as the Scouts and whatnot, but the big thing is that it's top heavy. So it rolls way easier. So like I said, as demonstrated, it's very clear. So I didn't just drive recklessly. I was just demonstrating one of its primary limitations. Yeah, that's what we're going to go with. I was just demonstrating what its weakness was so people could properly understand. Yeah, definitely didn't just rush what I was doing and not take the time to be careful about it. Clearly I was just demonstrating its major flaw. But yeah, no, I get, like, for me, I guess I understand. What's this game about? Basically, you take vehicles on really awful roads and try to solve problems. So, for example, we are in Michigan right now. You know, presumably northern Michigan, somewhere. A very rural area. And the area has been hit by a really bad flood. So it's been evacuated, the bridges has been knocked out, and all that kind of stuff. And we're going in and doing stuff like helping them deliver steel to, like, rebuild bridges and all that kind of stuff. So we're kind of disaster recovery. But, the main point of the game is you're trying to take stuff on really awful, poorly maintained roadways and such. So you'll see me, like, fight getting stuck in the mud and all that. And all that kind of stuff. So it's kind of like, if you think of, like, American Truck Simulator as you're just delivering goods, this is delivering goods in the worst possible scenario. When's the snow gonna happen? I'm worried it's not till next map.
Thank you, Sniper Spice, for subscribing for 21 months. Ads, no.
Thanks, Sniper Spice, for the Prime Gaming sub. You only get one of those a month, and you used it here, which means a whole heck of a lot, so I really do appreciate that. I do hope you enjoy your advertisement-free viewing, as well as access to the emotes. And thank you again so much for that support. You've been supporting the channel for 21 months. A year and 9 months. It's a heckin' long time, so thank you so much for that continued support. But yeah, so you'll notice, like, this vehicle is pretty
Take a
easy
sip.
to...
What's the worst that could happen?
Alright. So this vehicle actually puts up with some pretty bad terrain pretty easily. Whereas, like, when I'm doing, like, the really heavy deliveries and all that, I'm using a really heavy truck. And so getting swamped up in mud where I just spin my tires and that is much more of a significant concern. So, like, if I was trying to take a big, heavy truck through this, it would really struggle in that spot of mud back there. But, this is what's referred to as a scout vehicle. They're much better at just getting around into difficult-to-reach places, but they're terrible at actually bringing something with them when they're doing it. But the current mission is I just need to reach the top of this mountain, which is not a disaster recovery thing. It's just a weird mission that they have. But yeah, like, a lot of your stuff is like, oh, there's been a rock slide, bring the stuff so they can, you know, break up and get the rocks off the road to clear the road. Oh, this power pole got knocked over. Like, well, I shouldn't say power pole, power tower, like the big steel towers, got knocked over onto the road from the flood. Like, bring the stuff we need to, like, get that clear of the road and rebuild the tower. Oh, this bridge got washed away by the flood. You know, go bring the planks and all that kind of stuff to rebuild the bridge. At least right now you're sightseeing? Yeah. That's just the thing I was joking about, is you have, like, all, like, the legitimate concerns of the thing. It's like, oh, the bridge is gone. We need this bridge to get our materials in. Go fix the bridge. Okay, makes sense. Oh, there's this rock slide. It's blocking the roads. We need to get that. All right, sure. Oh, this factory here is, like, the local economy. It needs a generator run over there so that, you know, it can get the stuff back in business so we can manufacture the things we need to repair some of the other stuff. All right, checks out. And it'll be like, hey, go to this impossibly dangerous route in your Jeep. Climb to the top of this mountain because reasons. And you kind of look, it's like, is this really where we should be putting our energy right now? Yeah, no, seeing the sights in real life, sure. You wouldn't drive up this. You would walk it. Alright. That actually paid a lot. Was that 25,000 it paid? Heck yeah. So that's literally all the side missions we've got here, other than, like, the quest missions. So you want bricks, wood planks, and fuel to be delivered to the farm. So let's see. So that's got 1 bricks, but none of the other stuff. That's got the wood planks. Oh, it's a farm on another map. Alright, so what I think we do for this one is we don't worry about grabbing the stuff on this map. We haven't checked the next map yet at all. So I'm going to recover to the car real fast. And I'm going to actually take 2 seconds to quickly use the restroom, because I need to use the restroom. So sorry about that happening that early in the stream, but I've been drinking a lot of soda and whatnot, and I've had plenty of hydrates, so I got to use the restroom. So I'm going to quickly do that, and I'll be back here in just a minute. Thank you again for tuning in. I'll be back here in a moment. Now, if only you kids could pick up litter this efficiently, we'd have the cleanest town in this side of Gem Sea. Vote for Mayor Lewis. My jokes are terrible. And now the winner of this year's egg hunt is... Give me my hat. Do it. Jas and Vincent. Wait, hang on. Hold up. Alright. Hey, train, could you not? Hey, train, please. Train. No. This is not my stop, train. I don't want to go this way. Let me free. Alright, so we're going to... Oh, God. And we just need to straighten it out and everything will be fine. All right. Not the best hide or anything. Yeah, I mean, well, that's the thing. For those who know, local water here in Florida, it sucks. So I'd be drinking a bunch of bottled water, which isn't the worst, but at the same time, I do have bottled water in the house, but I usually keep it for disaster purposes, because I'm in an area that gets hit with hurricanes a lot. So it is good to have that on hand just in case. So let's just go right over here. What about water filters? I mean, sure, but then you have to buy the water filter and the cartridges and all that sort of stuff, and it's not as expensive as bottled water. Like, don't get me wrong, soda's expensive too. You really try drinking as much water as you can? Yeah, there's times I've gone back and forth. It's mostly like I've quit drinking soda in the past, but like, you know, like Tomb likes to have soda around the house. The only way I've ever been able to stop drinking soda is I don't buy it for the house in the first place, so I can't give in to temptation. But if soda's in the house, like you'll sit there and you go, here is this, you know, here's this water, it's not particularly exciting or anything, or soda. But yeah, no, I should definitely drink more soda. Like, don't get me wrong, soda is very unhealthy. Like, I acknowledge this. But yeah, I mean, soda ultimately is like, that's you'll have people argue that's like, oh no, that you can't drink soda and hydrate. That's not how it works. Like, well, yes. Is it good hydration? No. Like, I'm not arguing that soda's healthy. It's not. It's terrible. It's awful. It is really bad for you. These are all true statements. But where people's like, oh, but that doesn't hydrate you, it's like, well, that's a lie. It's literally water with extra crap you don't need in your body put in it. It's still water. And you'll have people say, oh no, you need to drink your, what is it? They say like 64 ounces of water a day. But even like when you go to nutritionists, they're like, well, yeah, but it also is supposed to include like the food you eat has water in it. So like, if you're eating watermelon or something, you can get away with basically not drinking water. It's just, you don't know what people are eating, so if you're going to recommend something, the consequences of drinking more water than you need are pretty negligible unless it's an extreme amount, versus the consequences of drinking nowhere near enough water are actually pretty bad. So if you're making a general, broad recommendation for everyone, the safer bet is to go over than under. Yeah, that's an overly generalization, though. If you're someone who's out in the sun and all that all day, you're going to need to drink a lot more water. If you're eating a lot more, like, fruit and all that, you're going to need less water because your fruit contains a lot of water. It is a very... That's like the blanket statement that people do with that. That, it's the safer bet. Like again, drinking a little too much water isn't going to hurt you any meaningful level. It's going to absorb a little bit of the nutrients from your body, like the metals, or not metals, that's not the word I'm looking for. The minerals, that's what you're looking for. It's going to absorb some of the minerals and take it from your body, but all that means you just get a little bit, you know, a little bit extra minerals will make up for it. Versus being dehydrated is really bad for you. According to what you've heard, there's a woman died. Yeah, no, they had a contest about who could drink the most water or something like that, and there was someone who actually died. But that's not, the amount of water being drank there was not a reasonable or realistic amount of water. To be clear. It was a purely volume thing. So it wasn't that it was water, it was the sheer amount consumed was the problem. Let's see. Most people are slightly dehydrated. Yep, that's true. That is an accurate statement, is that most people are slightly dehydrated. My waypoint got skipped, so I need to go clean it up. What was that? Well, let me check one thing real fast. Yeah, according to what you've heard, caffeine contained in most drinks can cause dehydration? No. So that's the misinformation side of it. There is the whole thing where people are like, oh no, like, you'll dehydrate if you drink too much beer. And it's like, well, no, that's not true. Is it a good hydration source? No, it's not. Like, it's not a good source of hydration. Now, if you're drinking, like, straight-up liquor and stuff, like you're drinking vodka and that, yeah, that'll dehydrate the crap out of you. But, like, very, very low alcohol, very low caffeine content stuff won't dehydrate you. Is it good hydration? No. It's bad hydration. But mostly because all the other crap in there is the real problem. Thank you for the follow. Welcome to the stream. You can't link it, but Mayo Clinic kind of debunks that. Oh, debunks the... Yeah, it goes through and it basically says... Like, that's the whole thing. When it comes to hydrating, they do hydrate you. It's the fact is, you don't want to use, like, alcoholic beverages as a primary source of hydration because that much alcohol is really bad for you. And you don't want to use soda as a primary source of hydration because that has got all sorts of bad stuff in it. It's not the hydration dehydration concern, it's the other crap. You know, the dyes and the flavoring and the food color, well, I mean the food coloring is dyes, and the caffeine and all that stuff. Getting too much of those things. It does simulate your system, which increases you having to go. But the fluid you get from it or whatever drinking replaces more. Yep. That's the only reason I'm pushing back on that is kind of things. Yeah, that's the thing. Well, alcohol is technically poison your body. It's like, well, oxygen can be poisonous and water can be poisonous and all that. Like, it's too much is the problem. It's all about volume. Like, way too much water can cause you problems. It can demineralize your body. That's long term. Vitamin A can be poisonous. But that's the thing, you do need it to live. Realistically, are you probably going to kill yourself by drinking too much water? Probably not. Not realistically. Hey, new location. Feels like the start of State of K2 when you go to a new map. Alright, so we have... a bunch of towers. We don't know where the gas station is. So we're going to start by trying to go this way and just work our way to that watchtower. Yeah, now don't get me wrong, very, very often people do badly dehydrate themselves going out drinking. Like, that is a thing that happens. Usually it's they're not getting enough water, they drink a bunch of stuff like beer, it doesn't give them enough hydration to be worth their time, and they end up mildly dehydrating, getting a hangover, or worse, they drink a bunch of, you know, mixed drinks and liqueurs and all that do actually ultimately cost you more in hydration than you gain. Looks like there's a back road there. Okay, so it looks like we're gonna go this way. We have a service hub there that doesn't look like a gas station though. Granted, maybe the okay. I understand. Yeah, so it looks like we're gonna go up here, go this way. It feels pretty confident that that ultimately, you know, might go around that way. That's probably going to lead where we want. Never had a hangover before? I don't typically have a hangover as well. I usually do stay fairly hydrated. Yes, I do get a lot of unhealthy hydration. And, like, that's those things. Oh, this looks like a garage. And that topped our for gas. If you recall, the alcohol causes a lowering of the cerebrospinal fluid as part of what pee out as part of that. I wouldn't think that. I mean, I don't know if that's true, but that sounds like one of those things that people like. That's one of the things that when you gotta be really careful about the information you get around like that kind of stuff. That you'll have people bring some of that stuff up. Not specifically that, but it's like, oh, it causes this other issue, and a lot of times that's where you start getting into misinformation areas where there'll be one study that kind of sort of maybe hints it, that even the people who do the study are like, we are not sure if this has any relevance to anything, or it's just their sample size is too small, yada yada. And then it gets taken as gospel. Even though it can't, like, the study's never properly tested or recreated or whatever. But people then quote it. Or even then, like, they go through, they do the repeat, and they go, oh no, we were wrong. We weren't able to repeat the same results. But the initial story makes it out there, and even though the people have taken the time to correct the information, it's out there now. This is spicy in the fact that we're bouncing so much. We bounced up onto one wheel twice now, trying to go through here. But, versus, there's a very simple and direct explanation, which is you end up more dehydrated when you're drinking lots of alcohol. Especially, again, with your liquors, because you're not getting water out of that usually of a meaningful amount. You're just getting the alcohol and whatnot. And alcohol does have a negative effect on hydration. It's just the catch of, while it has a negative effect, usually stuff like beers and wines and whatever, there's not enough alcohol content that the hydration you get out of that, you know, is more than what you lose from the alcohol. So it's still a net positive on your hydration. Hey, Jay Walker, how's it going? Now again, don't turn around and drink a bunch of wine and beer as your main source of hydration. Like the lady who did the whole fitness thing about fat burning zone, you burn more calories, meaning lower intensity, more calories than higher intensity. She pulled a tiny bit off of exercise physiology and left out that high intensity burns more calories overall. Yeah, that's exactly the kind of thing where it's like, okay, so we got a lost trailer, we got another lost trailer, so that's good. That's the reason why I'm taking the time to try and grab these first. Okay, so we got a really dicey path up here. I think I'm gonna just go for it, though. I expect this to be really rough looking at this whole mess. Considering it's clear that there's supposed to be a road going through here that is just straight up gone. So there is a good chance we get down here and we just bury our poor truck in the water. You be playing the next game in the franchise? Expeditions? Yep. I have added, if you do ! game list, I have added a spreadsheet now that you can click on. It'll actually show you games that I've already gone through and said, this is a game I am going to play. I might play it later. Or I also have some games that are said, yeah, I'm not going to play that. Like for me, for example, 7 Days to Die is a game I will not play. And if you're wondering why, it's the devs started DMCA striking content creators for using a Twitch integration mod that they had historically allowed to be on there. And so rather than do the reasonable thing and say, hey, you know, this mod, we're going to say no to this mod, and then go after the mod itself or something like that, they just started DMCA striking creators. And very understandably, as a creator, that is a big ol' absolutely not in my book. Oh, we're totally getting stuck here. First of all, so we can watch ourselves get stuck, we're going to fast forward time. Oh, we're super getting stuck. There is no anchor points till I'm on the other side of this. Actually, this might not be as bad as I thought. I was looking at that mud thinking it's going to be that way the whole way across. Okay, it's nowhere near as bad as it looked at first. Yeah, no, I saw that mud at the beginning, and I was thinking we were just going to get stuck in the mud, and then watch it go, you know, dangerous water level, and then just destroy the edge as I'm desperately trying to just drag the Jeep across it to try and get the anchor point on a tree. Yeah, that seems not that bad. Just gonna watch about rolling on some of these little ridges. Yeah, we go along here. If I do start to get stuck, I can just winch my way to freedom. Let's see. These 7 Days to Die seem to actively want to chase people away from their game. They also deliberately make their next game release to counter any successful strategies that players make in between. Yeah, I mean, I get the balance decisions that there are games that are like, this game is supposed to be hard, and so when people find ways to, you know, break a game's AI and all that, it's a common thing that devs will go through and patch it so that that trick no longer works. Like, Tynan with RimWorld does that a lot. If people find a clever meta strategy, Tynan will absolutely nerf the crap out of it. There has been many a strategy that has been absolutely murdered. I'm guessing this is the route. Could you please take that prompt off my screen so I can see what I'm doing, game? Is this still Michigan? Yeah, we're on a different part of Michigan. We're on the... Look, there's a dam in the distance. Yeah, so this tunnel right here goes back to where we were. So we got a bunch of upgrade parts, and we got another tower here. Let's try to get back to the road as best we can. See, we can't snag that upgrade since we're in the neighborhood. Please let... Oh, it's the tower. I was like, please let me turn my camera so I can actually see what I'm doing. Okay. How do you get new tires in the Jeep? We bought them. Since we bought the other truck, I've been spending a little bit of money to get stuff. Grew up in Michigan? So did I. Grew up outside of Detroit. Nowhere near this part of Michigan. Yeah, no, the last stream last stream of this, we finally hit the point that the Freestar was really, really struggling, so we did ultimately buy a much better of the or I think we didn't buy a better, I think we bought an off-road truck, I can't remember. We bought a better truck. Is what we did. Alright, so you're right here. That doesn't look too bad from this angle. Yeah, the Paystar. Why are you... There's nothing... Maybe stuck... Oh, I was just stuck in a rock. It's like, what are we... I was like, what are we stuck on? Did that make a difference? Yes. Alright, so... Engageable differential kit. Cool. And we have another tower down there, so let's go here. And somewhere over here will be a path. It could be that I gotta go down here and around. We can't tell yet. We're gonna go down there and check that out. Looks like we also have another Chevrolet over here. I can just snag as a vehicle. I think that'll be the last tower on this side. Now we got 2, 3 more towers on the other side of the map. Alright. Yeah, that's usually the first part of any map, is to take the time to do a quick ride around, hit all the watchtowers, try and get a very quick what's even out here, because you can snag the upgrades and they could potentially make life a lot easier. This is your second region. I was under the impression when it came to the terminology that regions were like Alaska versus Michigan versus whatever, and then this is the second section or map. Like, I don't know what the terminology is for the game, but I've heard people referring to the larger areas as regions and then these as maps. But I don't know if that's correct or I'm misremembering or misinterpreting or whatever. Right, let's avoid the right side. That's a little bit high, so I can pretty easily roll. Gotcha. Yeah. It could also be one of those things that there isn't a shared terminology, that different people use different ones. That happens a lot in games. Like when it comes to, like grid zones, all that, and Project Zomboid, there's also people use like 3 or 4 different sets of terminology. Like, most people agree that Cell's the smallest one. Never played Project Zomboid? Gotcha. Its map is broken up into grids that have different ways. Okay, so that appears to be the road that leads there. I'm gonna take my chances off-roading it over there. We got some pretty rough hills over here. I need to avoid that pocket there, because that pocket there is going to be us going right on over on our side. Yeah, seems fine. Alright, a little bumpy over here. Just gotta avoid rolling. Okay. So this area was flooded? Yes. And, like, this is after the flood. So, like, things are just damaged and busted up and that kind of stuff, and we're... Okay, so we've got another whole map down that way. We've got some boulders to move over here. That I'm not sure we can traverse easily enough. We've got some more towers up here. I'm almost curious if I should just, because we're down here, I'm almost curious if we should just go to the next map. Like, we'll still drop back and deal with this one, but just kind of go on, like, the discovery part of things. Because I can see doing that. Basically just exploring this, because I actually have no idea how big these maps are. Or, like, regions or whatever we want to go with. Can you, like, teleport maps, or do you have to drive? I have no idea how any of it works. But the way I look at it, like, I plan on finishing one section of the map at a time. But I could see taking the time to, go grab all the upgrades and vehicles from all of them, and then go back to mission going. Oh, if you unlock the garage, you can go between them? Okay, that's good enough for me. But not every map has a garage. Gotcha. Well, I did find the map on this... Sorry, the garage in this map section, whatever. But yeah, because I figure what I would do otherwise, if I don't push on to the next one, is it seems like the south route is very, very flooded out to the point I may not be able to make it through there without a snorkel or something else to get me through it. It could also be fine. I don't really know. But, so if I just go this way real fast and hit that south area, we might be able to explore that. And like I said, we could take the time to start trying to recover all of the vehicles and upgrades first. So maybe priorities-wise, I grab vehicle upgrades and vehicles first. And second, we go through repairing and clearing roads. Anything that's going to be major transportation routes. And then after that, it's, you know, just hauling stuff around. Like, the map will be as sorted as the map is going to be. Yeah, that's exactly the thing, because the very first time I messed with this, I very briefly played it before I started this run. I did, like, one short stream of it kind of thing. And I just beelined for the missions. And we made progress, but it was very slow and painful. Because it just didn't have the upgrades, it didn't have vehicles. Sometimes I had to take alternate routes. I don't want to go into that. That looks real soupy right there. So I'll make sure I'm sticking close enough to, like, the telephone pole and all that, where if I get caught up in it. Yeah. Just in case we get, like, stuck in that mud back there, I could have just grabbed into a tree or a pole or something to keep myself moving. That seems to be the only thing that gets this vehicle stuck, is one, if it's just really bad we roll. Or if it's just some place that the wheels just spin. Brute force it? Yeah, basically. Just use the winch and daisy chained and drag, like, did the thing where you grapple the trailer for a little way, you know, trailer a little ways forward, and then you'd switch the front, grab the extreme, pull the front, then you grab the trailer, then the front, then the trailer. Island Lake. This zone is just soup. That's the way it looked from the thing. So we got a log station. Weirdly enough, I could see all of the map except where the watchtowers are. That might be a gas station there. I'm guessing it's going to go like that and over. Alright, so it's not a gas station. I was hoping that was a gas station. I was grabbing that mission since I was sitting on top of it. I'm not gonna do it right now. Probably that way. Yeah, looks like a house. Not seeing a gas station anywhere obvious, so... we might be in trouble in not too long, because we're about halfway through our gas tank. It's looking more like right versus left. There we go, actually. Is that really cool but painful if you're not prepared? Yeah, no, that's what I was figuring. Luckily, we have the off-road tires. The mudding tires certainly seem like these would be better for this area. But I feel like the off-road tires, if you don't have mudding tires, would probably be your next best option for dealing with the mud. Alright, so there's plenty of fallen trees to grapple in a pinch. Should be going up along the right more. Great spot for a watchtower in the middle of a swamp. I don't know. It's a very flat area. It's okay. We already saw that. Is it the best place for it? No, certainly not. But honestly, it's a big, large, flat area. As long as you're taller than the tree line. Doesn't seem like you could certainly do worse. Just trying to reposition this so I don't roll over when I try and grapple this next tree. Alright, so we are out of here real fast. Okay, so no gas station over there. There might be a gas station over there. That's actually, we're already mostly over here. Let's go see what we got over there. Pop over here. There's a watchtower up there, but I'm hoping... doesn't look like it's going to have a gas station there, but that also might go up that way. So let's pop down this way. That looks really bad over there. I'm also seeing what looks like a big gas trailer potentially up here. Let's try going up this way. Because that makes me think that's going to be a really bad place to try and do really anything. Just gonna spot this real fast. Because we get XP for it. Alright. You think going here that I have a basic map for you to start with. It's like the highway goes through here kind of thing. You can't do the gray areas? Right, but the fact that they don't even have the major highways is kind of a weird thing. I guess the lore is they don't know how much the old maps are still relevant for the flooding. Yeah, I mean, you'd still have the road, like I could understand like the little side dirt roads not being marked makes sense. But you'd think like the major paved roads, even if they were washed out and not usable, you'd still have them on the map. There we go. I mean, but it's a video game. To be fair. Video games like their moon logic. I mean, to be fair, we actually, on the first map, we hit the gas stations frequently. And wanted to be assumed, like, you'd buy a map of Michigan. I remember paper maps and having to use those to navigate. I don't miss those days. I can still navigate with a paper map. Doesn't mean I want to. So, hey. How you doing, trailer? Can I fuel up on you? Yeah, I'll just let's take some of that sweet, sweet gas you got there, friend. I was like, it's either like water or oil or gas. Maps are always confusing to me. Is that the dirt road up the tower? Oh, no, we just have like a straight up road going up there. Okay, fair enough. Oh, that is the road. Really? I guess it is. Too much info? Yeah, no, it's a... I think for me it was with like the paper style maps. I never really had a problem, but part of that was recognizing I don't care about 90% of the stuff on the map. So it's kind of just, where am I? Where is my destination? And then just trying to figure out like what lines I could follow to get there. You had to like mentally filter everything else out because, you know, it's telling you where a lot of everything is. Alright. You never figured out how to filter? Yeah, no, it's one of those things. If you try and like treat a map like a book where you're like trying to absorb all of it, it's just, yeah, there's too much of everything, and like 99.9% of it is probably not even relevant to you. Okay, so you got a tower up there. I'm gonna try and go to this tower down here. We're gonna go down this way. I'm going to assume it's off this back road here. I don't know if that's true. I'm partially doing that in case there's anything interesting down here. I might also just be going up on a mountain that might ruin it. I could probably take that road, but I want to go by this area and see what it is. See if I can't figure out if there is a gas station on this map, where it is, or if there's a garage in the map, where it is. So we're doing a little bit of exploring on our way to the watchtowers and all that. Because I'm guessing if we end up messing up our vehicle and needing to restore or whatever, that when we restore, I don't know if it'll take us to the edge of this map, to the garage in this map, even if we haven't discovered it, or the garage on the last map, since that's the last garage we left from. I don't know what the rules are. But we just won't roll ever, and we won't have to worry about that. I hear the year 2024 is the no flip year. That is what I hear tell. I also want to grab that. Does the fact it's raining do anything? I actually don't know if the rain has any in-game influence whatsoever. I could see it making it slicker, making the mud, you know, murkier, soupier. Soupier. I'm gonna go with that. That is an adjective now. I could also see it being purely aesthetic as well. I genuinely don't know. So that's clearly a lumber mill. There's no question about that. Yeah, so we don't get to see anything else. I'm gonna still go on the assumption that the south pass out of here goes by the watchtower. I don't know if it actually does or doesn't, but I'm just gonna go on the assumption it does. Oh, okay. I expected a road on the outside of the fence too, but this is fine. Looks like a logging camp? Yep. Oh, I guess I shouldn't say a lumber mill, but yeah, it's, yeah, no, it's very clearly they're cutting down the trees. They bring them there. That building behind me is the sawmill, taking those logs, making that into, you know, planks or whatever the end product is. Or the interim product. Whatever they're taking to then deliver on to the next. This does not feel like even a path. Oh, I took the wrong way. That's fine. Looks like I have another trailer there. Oh, I skipped one of the marks. Yeah, that's the reason to, like, backtrack. We were just guessing a path anyways. Oh, this does not feel like a good place for this particular Jeep. It can handle getting around it, but that is some angles there. This feels like it's going to be a roll city. And the only anchor points I have are the ones to make it worse. Oh yeah, no. 2024. Year of no rolling. I hear that. OG Mana. Let me know that one. Another fuel carrier. Alright, I mean, well, I'm here, so if you don't mind, let's take a little bit of that. Okay, so clearly we go this way, and that looks like it goes straight on over. It might zigzag a little bit or whatever. That definitely looks like the road to the watchtower. I'm happy there's a bunch of these fuel containers everywhere. It's no gas station, but honestly, as much as there are in there, unless we have a mission to, like, deliver 1,000 or something, which we probably do. But if we don't, it means I can kind of strategically place my gas stations by just moving the fuel trailer wherever I need it to be. off-roading? I mean, to be fair, what we are driving on is what the map marks as the road. Yeah, this is considered a road. Yep. Okay. I'm gonna go on a hunch that there might be something worthwhile here. I can see there's another trailer there. This route down here, this other road seems fine, yet this exists for some reason, and I don't think that watchtower is going to reveal what's down here. So we're gonna go out of our way down here because there might be a vehicle or upgrade for us just stashed down there. Yeah, so I think we're gonna do is we're gonna ping pong this way and then go through that way there. So let's plan. So go over there. And I'm going to go on the assumption that this road will go up this way somewhere. You do like the game's waypoint system? Oh yeah, the fact, like, especially I like it that you exit the game and jump back in, and the waypoints are still just there. You know, such a low barrier to entry so far as like what you have to do to make the game work. Quality of life feature. And yet it's one of those ones that, like, it remembering it feels unusual. Because how my games are bad at it. Don't. Ah, okay, I see. So that is a road. Alright, let's not go too rambunctious over those rocks. There's a little dip right there. But yeah, like little things like that. Like you'll see me with a lot of games where I'll as we're like having problems starting. Just need to like winch it the tiniest bit to give it a little nudge. Polish, I mean, yes, polish is, or quality of life is polish. But there's a lot of games that they look gorgeous, everything works well, and so on and so forth. But then there's just like those little niceties, those little quality of life things, like remembering where you put waypoints on the map, having a decent mapping system where you can like mark stuff. Like I wish on the map I could sit there and like tag, like put a mark on the map here that says, "Yo, this is some thick mud over here. Beware." Or, hey, this spot looks bad, but it's actually not really that bad. Like, being able to just, like, have little marks you can put on the map. Kind of like what you could do in, Product Zomboid has a system like that where you can, like, effectively write on the map with, like, a pen and all that, and put little, or, like, type stuff out and put, like, different symbols and all that. Yeah, so it's, like, stuff like that that's just a quality of life. It's not a game balance thing, because honestly, if a game wants me to memorize every nook and cranny of its map, that game can go walk off a short bridge. Because, you know, I get to play games a little bit here and there, and then, you know, have to go and, like, move on to the next game, and then circle back, and by the time I circle back, I've forgotten where everything is. So I do like being able to go back and be like, okay, I played this, like, you go, oh, but realism, and like, you know what, realism? I'd be doing this in one sitting, because I would be in middle of nowhere Michigan after a disaster, and I wouldn't be leaving until it's done or I'm not involved anymore. And likely I'd be driving up and down these roads dozens and dozens and dozens of times to memorize them all. Versus video game logic, playing video games around work schedule and school schedule and real life stuff. Yeah, realism, I'd have a paper map in my car. Exactly. But people already know I have. People think as I have a stance against realism, which, I mean, I guess is fair. But my stance when it comes to realism in video games is realism within itself isn't worth anything. Realism in support of what you want to have is good. But realism that gets in the way of enjoyment. Another thing. Let's see. Hey there. I have around 400 in-game hours. In case you wasn't asked something, you have some. I wish you knew. I do appreciate it, but so far I haven't really needed anything. Like the only thing which we've kind of already addressed is last time I played was kind of trying to get a feel for safety winch. Okay. We're just doing a little Spider-Man, just going out the side and just shooting the winch off to the side. But yeah, no, it's like the only thing I had that I was like struggling with was, you know, you do your missions, you get money, and a lot of games have a whole mechanic where if you buy something and you sell it back, you take a severe penalty. And so it made me want to just, you know, kind of dragon horde sit on my mountain of money and be like, no, we won't spend it till we know what we want. And it kind of wasn't until we hit missions that are like, okay, we definitely don't have the equipment we need for this. Ooh, I'm gonna guess this road goes up to the tower. It could be either way. I could see it go this way and around the back. I could see it go this way. It could also cross through the middle. It does feel like that area in the back, even if that isn't what leads to the tower, is someplace we should check out if it doesn't get revealed by the tower. Because those are the kind of places I could see them just like, oh, I did not read that right. I think we're okay, though. I didn't read that as being the really thick mud. But the double steel beam mission was painful. Where you which yeah, no, that was one I was like, okay, like that's literally the mission. I was like, okay, I have to buy the better truck. Like this is me reading, all right, this is clearly not meant to work this way. But yeah, no, I'm not asking the game to like hold my hand or anything, but I do kind of wish there was a mission that was like, oh hey, you should go buy a truck now, just to kind of get you to be like, oh right, I should do that from time to time. All right, so that's a pretty gnarly pull. I'm gonna try and go around the off-roading side and just go out in the woods. But the game does give a lot of freedom, but yeah, the players who like to horde would be nice to some. Yeah, and I'm not sitting there saying, hey, like, before, like, I don't want to have a big war. It's like, hey, before you take this mission, just know you should be buying. That seems like almost a path over there, because that is straight up swamp down there. But it'd be nice to have like, is it a river maybe? It didn't look like a river. Like that looks like it's just straight up where water settled. I could be misreading the map, but also we've got this nice dry spot over here. Was that snow I saw up there? Maybe not. Move that up here. What is happening that I'm, like, recoiling? It's almost like there's an invisible wall? No, it's just weirdly the vehicle's being strange about it. Rock Hunter, maybe? Oh, whoa, no. So something is funky here. Maybe you just can't go off-road that far? Might be bouncing against a low branch? Maybe. Yeah, no, me getting stuck in the bog, that makes sense, but it's the whole thing where the vehicle goes like, bonk. Like, the moment I, like, detach, it's like, what is going on? Yeah, like, we're definitely not taking this route as our regular course through here for a whole litany of reasons. What? Oh, yeah, the hitboxes are weird. So you see, I'm hitting this tree right now. I'm kind of worried when I let go of this, we're flipping. What is... This is so wild. Alright, so cutting through the middle of the woods is a little bit dicier than I expected it to be. Mostly because of weird hitboxes. Yeah, no, that's the whole thing. It's like, okay, going through the deep water there, it almost felt like you're supposed to go, oh, I need to go around this. And I was like, nah, man, I got other things I want to do with my time. You can go around this. Alright, let's just try and get up here. The trees always get you. Yeah, oh, I forgot to mention everyone popping in. It's been like 2 hours since we started. Normally I try and take the time to recognize everyone who started in, and I didn't. I didn't even call it who got the first. I don't remember who did get the first. Who snagged the first today? I would guess Ianek, but I don't... We had a decent number of people who were waiting, so I could definitely see there being a little bit of competition for it. We have a redeem called First that is only available for the first person who redeems it during a stream. Can you eat the trees? I mean, you can eat anything you put in your mouth once. So I got a radio tower there. That looks like another road over. So let's pop down here, up there. Is that going to be another road? How many areas are one of these made out of? I mean, you don't need to actually answer that. That's me being rhetorical. But it's those things like, man, I did not expect the maps to have this many segments to them. You know, I've heard it's big. I did not anticipate how big. Ooh. I saw us pop up over our center of gravity there for just a second. Luckily, it seems like we scooched into a little pocket and we caught ourselves. Because I don't think I had something to grapple to on the side to pull myself straight. You're like 10% into the 6th region. It's actually, Jaywalker, usually, it's not even people close to me necessarily. Like, some of the people who get it reliably live very distant in the area. It's just weird things with Twitch that sometimes you have to, like, refresh your page and all that before it shows up. So it's kind of like, whose page decides to refresh when? Alright. Man, I was gonna say it's basically usually more of a measure of just like weird stuff around that. Yeah, so I'm thinking we go to the next area and just keep working our way across. If this goes on, it could also be just the end of the world kind of thing. I just want to check real fast. Oh, nope, there's more map over here. Drummond Island? There's so much Michigan. That goes back to the dam. So it looks like there's one tile goes out to a loop. Okay. Well, let's start looking around here. Let's grab the mission while we're here. We're not going to do it right now. As far as I can tell, there's no... Hey! New level. Is that a G-Wagon? I don't know what that... Are you mean the vehicle we're in? This is called a Scout 800. I don't know if it's like a fictional vehicle made up for this game. It seems like it probably is. This seems like a very small map compared to the other ones. You think it's British? I don't know. It's not a real thing? Yeah. It doesn't sound like a real thing, like... Alright, let's not go into that. Let's go off to the side. So the catch is, I can go up to this side. There's no grapple points, but more likely to be drivable. Or I can go through the water, and I have the tree there. Alright. No, it is a real thing, made in 1960-1980 by Indiana company, apparently. Interesting. So we do have an upgrade right there. Well, then I guess we're going this way and around, because that's looking pretty dicey. Let's go to the left. Learn something new. The company that makes jars, Balacorp, doesn't make the jar anymore. Technically, it actually makes systems for the Department of Defense. That's there's a lot of fun ones when you go into history of different stuff. Like, for example, there was a period of time that Harley Davidson didn't make Harley Davidson motorcycles. There's a company called AMF actually made Harley Davidson motorcycles, and they just basically, you know, it was partnered with Harley Davidson for it, but they just kind of stuck a sticker on it as like it's a Harley Davidson. All right, so we got the upgrade. So we're gonna go back in this road down here, cut across here. And we'll see what we get over here. Hardin started by making generators, remember correctly? That would make sense. A lot of times you look at a lot of those companies, they end up doing a lot of things you don't expect. I know I've mentioned it before, but there's a lot of your electric, like, weed eaters and leaf blowers and all that. They're made by Electrolux. A whole lot of them are. You doing okay over there, Tree? I used to sell a whole bunch of tools, like both like regular mechanics tools as well as like lawn and garden kind of stuff. So mowers and weed eaters and all that kind of stuff. That was one of the things I did back when I was, you know, a teenager, early 20s. And I used to have the people who come and it's like, well, I'm not going to buy that brand. It's made by this group. And you turn around and it's like, well, I hate to break it to you. Your favorite brand's made by the same company. You're like, I'm not going to go buy that DeWalt electric, you know, weed whacker. It's made by Electrolux. I'm going to go buy Craftsman. I hate to break it to you. They come out of the same factory. Like, literally the plastic coating on them's the difference. And then, like, a couple of the accessories. Thank you for the follow. Welcome to the stream. Actually, I take that back. I don't think DeWalt or whoever I said was... It was Companion and Craftsman came out of the same factory. I think Husqvarna was a different manufacturer. Oh, it was another one of the really big names that a lot of people associate as being like super high quality was also Electrolux. And so you'd have people who were like, well, I'm not going to buy that one. It's made by Electrolux. Like, yeah, that brand's also made by Electrolux as well. He goes, if you want to have a different manufacturer, you got to go with Husqvarna, and you're going to, Still? Maybe. We didn't have Still Garden. Was that Lowe's who carries Still? I can't remember who Still was. Like, what retailer carried it. There's a good chance Still also. Like I said, there's a lot of those that it's like literally the hardware inside them is mostly the same. And then it's got like different plastic casing, different gearing and all that. Like there'll be some differences. But for all intents and purposes it's the same. Like the important bits are the same. Yeah, no, Still is considered like Still and Husqvarna are considered pretty respectable brands for lawn and garden stuff. Whereas, like, generally, like, Craftsman is considered more mid-range, but more reasonably priced. And then Companion is, like, is basically Craftsman budget version without the warranties and all that. Your warranty is you bought it. Did it explode when you walked out of the store? Congratulations, that's your warranty. Better than Black & Decker? Black & Decker I found to be a mixed bag. Sometimes you can actually get some decent stuff from Black & Decker, but a lot of time it's crap. Okay, so we're definitely taking that route. That bridge is clearly not built. But yeah, so basically the whole point of it was a lot of those tools are made by the same manufacturer. Like, ultimately, they have the different brands and all that. It's not like one company owns them all kind of situation. But, the same assembly production lines produce a whole lot of those tools. Yeah, Milwaukee and DeWalt are generally respected brands. But yeah, like I said, a lot of those... There's some of them that cover different places. Usually when it's like... You know, one of them comes from, like, Germany versus the US. Those usually end up being different manufacturers. Oh, this feels like it's going to be a rough one. Not a lot of flotsam I've seen that I can anchor to, so we're just going to try and bully it. But the point is, you'll usually have a company that their thing is they deal with, like, really good battery-operated tools. So, if they've got some of the best stuff there, why would you independently do it? And the answer is sometimes because money. Oh, I didn't realize you could anchor those mess up tree stumps. Okay, I think we go to the left of this tree stump to try and get up on this berm. Doing my best to try and stay on the berm. Because I feel like that's the two catches here. One is you could easily drown your vehicle. And then two is they make it so there's like really kind of hard paths to get through here. It's going pretty smoothly though. Alright. I feel like we're about to become a boat. Let's see, tools tools at work are Snap-on. At home I have some light-duty Ryobi stuff. Yeah, Snap-on is one of those ones from, this is from me having to sell tools. And again, I would actually have brand loyalty with Craftsman and all that if we really cared about it from what I sold. That said, I would still say Craftsman, generally speaking, is like on the better end of average. That their kind of big thing was their warranty was one, the convenience of it more so than the guarantee. A lot of tools have the guarantees, but theirs is one of the more convenient ones to exercise that guarantee. But like that was always the negative of Snap-on. Snap-on is absolutely, without question, a higher quality tool than Craftsman. Again, as someone who has bias in the benefit of Craftsman. But, like, absolutely just Snap-on's a better quality tool. The issue you run into is you have to catch the truck to exercise the warranty, and if you're at, like, a mechanic's garage where the truck goes to, that's not hard. But if you're just popping in random kind of thing, it is a lot trickier. Because then you gotta, like, know where the truck's gonna be. Sometimes they have what you need, sometimes they don't. You know, stuff like ratchets and that are very reliable and easy. Snap-on costs more. Hey, a gas station. It's been a while since we've seen one of those. Hey, the follow. Welcome to the stream. Alright, so let's back up this way, cut across there. That looks like it's going to be dicey. It also looks like there might be a trailer underneath it. No, it's just the watchtower. But yeah, so it was that. Like, then you had Craftsman, who was, again, kind of on the upper end of average. It's decent. It's not bad quality. But it's, like, nothing to be super duper, like, hey, this is amazing kind of thing. But the warranty was the easiest to exercise. You just go to the local Sears and then later the local Target. You'd walk in, you'd hold up the ratchet, no questions asked. They would give you a replacement. But, then you got Companion, which Companion is basically the same tools as Craftsman, but made out of crappier metal. and without the warranty. So those are your cheapo budget, it's not going to last nearly as long tool. And then you had, was it Husky? I think was the Home Depot brand? Comparable to Craftsman, warranty similar-ish. Then you got Harbor Freight. Harbor Freight is usually budget tools. Warranty's pretty terrible. But real good if you have a tool you're going to use like one time and you don't really care about. Harbor Freight is a good way to go. So like, when you've got that one socket you're going to use that one time and it's going to go in the toolbox and be forgotten, getting you know, a Harbor Freight is perfect. You like tools worth but expensive? When you're saying worth, is that a brand I'm unfamiliar with? I haven't heard of it before. Because, like, there's a lot of brands in Europe I wouldn't know if they're not available here. There's a bunch of stuff over there. Worth is an EU brand? Gotcha. Yeah, so I don't know them one way or the other. We got a big truck up here. So I'm gonna guess that looks like it's another bridge out here. So I probably want to go up this way. I can see there's something over there and maybe be able to get to this watchtower. That's my favorite trucks of the game over there. Gotcha. Yeah, like right now we're just exploring the map as best we can to, one, just figure our way around the map, locate upgrades and all. Taking a census, we'd like to ask, what do you believe is the best Nintendo game? Wait, Nintendo's relevant? No, I'm teasing. I don't know. I admittedly have not played a console of any kind in a number of years. So, like, I certainly have some of my favorite... Like, for me, a lot of the big games I was into Nintendo were back in, like, the Super NES days. Because that was the last time I played console as my primary thing. Then I moved, you know, by the time, like, Nintendo 64 and GameCube and all that came out later, I was already pretty heavily into PC gaming. So, it wouldn't make for good survey results if I was pulling and excluding, you know, 20-something years of games. That's pretty soupy. Shouldn't have just gone for that. We're okay, but that's one that could get me in trouble if I actually had a load. That's definitely a place where you just go right into the soup, and that's where it being. But yeah, no, like, going back in the day, like, there's all the ones you hear a lot, like Chrono Trigger and that. One that's kind of a standout one that, personally, I was a really big fan of when I was younger was EVO for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. Where you basically start as, like, this sad little, like, pathetic tadpole fish thing, and you fight other animals to then get stronger and stronger. Oh, you know what? We're not going to be able to reach the other side, because, there might be a route over there. It doesn't look like it. There might be a route over here. Because this bridge is gone. We're not cutting across there. I'm going to take a very bold strategy, and we're going to see if this is a way we can go. I am expecting to drown our truck right here. And, that'll be kind of that. And we'll, like, reset to wherever it takes us. But, realistically... Okay, so there's a river there? Oh, I'm not where I think I am. That's why. Realistically, the way I see this playing out is we go out there, and we probably just look at it and go, ah, we're 100% sinking, and then go for it anyways, because consequences don't exist. But we definitely can't cross to the other side from where we're at, so I just backtrack anyways. That might... Ooh, that might be doable. It looks sketch as heck. There's no anchor points of any kind, so the water catches me and drags me away. Well, it doesn't take much to figure out how that plays out. That's looking more like a nope to me. Yeah, I think what's going to happen is I'm going to go over this rock and we're going to flood the engine. Go fast, go fast, go fast, go fast. Alright. And I don't mean flood the engine like we put too much gas in it stalls. I mean flood the engine as in our air filter becomes a water filter. Something it's poorly suited for. Oh, ho, ho, ho. Please. Please. You started. And so you do have to be careful. There is current in this game that will drag your vehicle slowly to the side if we get too deep. I was say this. It's very clear they designed it so you can cross here. Oh, this is not good feeling. Okay, so it does make like a zigzag. Alright, deep spot here that we're probably going to get a little bit of a current, so we need to go across this relatively fast. I was waiting to hit that last rock and to roll it. Like, just get to the finish line and then just drop it at the, right at the end. Okay. We do have a trailer over there. We have clearly what is a vehicle that's in the drink. Yeah, so you're here. You go up there. Alright. I was expecting that current to really affect. I was expecting too. I was expecting to be one of those things that I'd have to, like, you know, keep trying to push forward as it's dragging me to try and counter it. And by that, realistically, me fail at it. Because I haven't played the game that much to be able to pull those kind of maneuvers off. But we did make it across. This is a spicy hill. Vehicle spending about half its time 35-degree angle either way. Also, who is up here shredding up this mud that much? Like, for as shredded up as this is, you'd expect there to be, like, lots of traffic going through here. Why can't you winch to rocks? I don't know. It's like sometimes you can winch to the tree stumps, and sometimes you can't, depending on what type of tree stump it is. Sometimes you can winch to the fallen over trees, sometimes you can't. They won't let you winch to something if you don't have good line of sight on it. It's like, well, hear me out, I'm gonna winch to it anyways, and let's just put a safety winch there for no particular reason. See? Oh, those ones you can actually. All the winches is usually it's a motor on a pulley. Well, not a, I guess it's a pulley, but a motor on a pulley that you just have this. Well, I guess not a pulley. It's a coil that you just have a motor that kind of rotates it and it pulls in and out cable. And usually it's like a heavy like metal line or whatever. So you can use it to pull stuff. So we've got what looks like, that could be a garage over there, it could be just like in our factory kind of thing. We got an upgrade over here, clearly in the mud deep. We have a service trailer. Yeah, so I think what we do is we backtrack here. I think this is the point where we get materials, because that makes sense. This probably fixes that bridge there. So let's go ahead and pop down here. So I feel like this upgrade, you're supposed to go out and around this way. Or down this way. So I feel like that's probably an upgrade we want, but it's probably one of those ones that's like a real risky upgrade to go for. So let's go try and get this tower before we worry about it. Alright. Are we gonna go back to Damat? Yeah. That is, like right now we're just trying to do a little bit of discovery, explore the maps. We'll try and go for upgrade parts and vehicles. And then once we get the upgrades and vehicles we can find, my next plan after that is to, let's just do that, no particular reason. Once we go after the upgrades and vehicles, we will go to anything that like clears roads, builds bridges, that kind of stuff. So I'm thinking we're gonna try and like fix all the infrastructure first. Because if we do that, then it'll make it much easier to move stuff around between the maps, to knock stuff out. How many flip are we at? We had 2 flips pretty early on in the stream. I think it was 2. I know it was at least 2. We may have had a 3rd. But, we had 2 pretty early in the stream, but since we've honestly gone on the quest of exploring the other map tiles, we haven't had it. We've had 1 or 2 that we started going over. We quickly, you know, threw the winch out to, like, balance ourselves, where we saw where it was getting very tenuous, and then used the winch to make it less tenuous. Part of it is since I got punished right at the beginning of the stream, I'm being a little bit more careful than I was. Because I was being a bit aggressive at the beginning of the stream and just going for it. Can you look at your last con? It's where by Harbor Freight dog leashes? I didn't know they sold dog leashes. I mean, you gotta be pretty bad to have a bad dog leash. Alright, I'll go this way so we can hopefully get to our pole if we do start to get bogged down the mud too much. We should be okay. Just want to get one little tug. I was gonna be pretty salty if I rolled right there. I was going a little too rambunctious to that rock. It was those lesions that were retractable? Ah, gotcha.
What's the worst that could happen?
Yeah, there are no shortage of those, anything spring-loaded to recover. That the springs are just poorly set up. Yeah, I can see either route going over that. It's probably likely this route. Yeah, it's probably actually that path there. But I'm gonna go up this way, I think. Let's see what fully upgraded. it does wheelies if not careful. Well, that was, we had weird issues where we were trying to we cut through the forest, like we were successful, but we had issues where I was kind of getting caught on tree hitboxes that the way you looked at it, I was definitely not making contact with the tree. But if you looked at the tree was like bent over sideways, and then when you let go, the truck would like flip back and almost go end over end. Alright, so we got a bridge over here. I don't know if it's one of these ones we gotta fix or not. But yeah, so we're doing the grand tour, because we unlock more of the vehicles around here. That's instant money. Yeah, so we need to go the other way around for that. So let's go back over this way. See if there's a road that goes down to here, or if we gotta backtrack. Oh yeah, when we go ahead, once we finish with this last little bit on this map, so far as exploration, then that takes us back to the dam. Am I enjoying the game? Yeah. We've, man, how many, we're at like 7 or 8 streams, 6 or 7 streams at least that we played this so far. I'd hope I'm enjoying it, because realistically, if it wasn't, we wouldn't still be playing it. Usually if I don't enjoy a game, I won't give it more than like a stream or 2. That looks like it might be a garage down there? Can't tell. It might also be just a supply area. Probably supply area with what I'm seeing. Yeah, it's supply area. Let's grab this while we're here. What's your goal? 100% next map? We'll see. Like, so far, people are still showing interest. As long as that's true, I'll keep doing more of it. Okay, so it does look like I need to backtrack all the way down the road here again. You get that watchtower. Here, while we're here. But yeah, no, as far as like finishing the map and 100%ing and all that, as long as the interest stays, I'm down to do it. If the interest does start to like drop off at some point, obviously, as a content creator, if people aren't into the content, I create something else. But so far it's been doing pretty well. That's actually one of the things I've noticed is the last decent number of days I've been playing a bunch of other games. Some of them did okay, some of them didn't do really good at all. But today things are going pretty well. I think I've kind of been building up like it wasn't a deliberate decision. I've been building up a pretty decent following for simulation games. Part of that's probably the fact I've been playing a lot of Farm Sim. This game is really fun to watch. Hey Strider, you're not a mod. We can handle it, friend. Sorry, Dragos. I'm gonna keep doing that, and I do apologize. I need to get better about it. That is on me. But I just see Darth Orange, and the number, and my brain takes a minute to catch up that the middle word's changed. Yeah, don't backseat mod. Did I already grab this one? Alright. Yeah, no, I feel like that's so Holiday say this game is fun to watch, easy to digest. I feel like that's the kind of thing that make games like this, an American Truck Simulator, Euro Truck Simulator, Farming Simulator, that make a lot of them very, very successful games to stream pretty easily. Is actually I wouldn't like let's not say easy, because it's one of those ones that generally it's easy for audiences to get into, because even if you're someone who doesn't play this game, you can see what is happening. You can see the person, like, when they flip their vehicle. Like, it's pretty easy to understand the problem points. You can see, like, when a person's in the mud, the tire spinning. It's very clear things going well versus not well. You don't have to worry about, like, the situation, like, oh, I missed a stream, now I have no idea what's going on. Like, it's pretty easy to get in, like, even if you don't know what missions. Is this your first playthrough? Yes. I technically did one stream of this before I started this playthrough, but, like, that was only, like, 2-3 hours worth of progress, and I was being stubborn about how I was approaching it because I knew I wasn't going to be playing a lot of it at that time. So I didn't get very far, because I was kind of just brute forcing the vehicles through areas, and not really approaching it in the way it should be approached. But yeah, so it's like this game, it's one of those ones that's like very easy to approach. Okay. Yeah, so I'll go over there, and this will probably reveal what's down there. We are getting a little dicey on the gas situation for where we're going, but that's kind of just where we're at. Yeah, I don't like this. This Jeep likes to roll real easy. There we go. But, man, I've been fortunate. I haven't lost that many saves over the years for games, because, you know, I did the painful losing of a save when I was much younger, so I do try to be good of, about backing up my saves in games fairly regularly. But again, that's only because I've done the thing where I lost saves that I had ridiculous amounts of time into, and then they're just gone. Nowadays, usually the only time I lose a save is, like, the game updates a version that the old save is no longer usable, kind of thing. Like, that happens. It's honestly one of the reasons I don't do that many early access games and invest, like, real time in them. Wider wheelbase? Gotcha. Yeah, I haven't looked at all the upgrades. So I'm not seeing much in the way of anchor points. There's not really an alternative route I'm seeing too much. Yeah, because that's a big ledge up there. So this seems to be the route to get over there. They do have an anchor point there. That might be my best route over here. Because I see there's a stump there, there's a branch there, and there's a branch there. Versus this is just straight up soup. Okay, tree, I don't think I hit you that hard to send you flying to the moon, but alright. Just be slow and steady with this. Alright. I was beached on the rock and it's really scared. I was gonna roll it trying to move. Alright. Be free, little tree. That is what we did. We bumped the tree and it just shot into the sky. It's like, okay. I guess it's people needed. Alright, so it's all the watchtowers in this map. Interestingly, no signs of upgrade. So the only upgrade we have in this map is over here that we're seeing. There could be one up in this area that we're just not seeing. I'm also not seeing an obvious vehicle here. There's a lot of room for something down here as well. So I do think I am going to risk it for the biscuit and go for this upgrade. Because we have checked out the whole map. I'm going to go, because there's a couple assumptions. Either one, it could be we go from here down that way. Two is we go around this way. Or three, we go down this way and circle around. I'm going to assume it's the circle around, because that's just too convenient of an S. I could also see it drop down that way. And it could be any or all the above. So I'm gonna go on the assumption that this is the route. But we'll see when we get there. Because we're also in a situation where we're a little bit low on gas and the gas station's nowhere nearby. Am I in normal or hard mode? I'm in normal. I think anyone who's brand new to a game and starts on hard mode is just asking to not have a good time. Like most games, whatever the default mode is, there we go, is usually the mode that the devs intend you to play on. And then hard mode and all that is if you want to, I just say... I say that? Oh, I just grappled to the tree that's laying on the ground. The mode I saw myself going over, I just tossed the winch. That doesn't feel like a good idea, but I'm going to do it anyways, because I don't have an alternative option, I see. Don't you roll. We're okay. Alright. Yeah, so we're taking the chance of trying to go for this. If we do run out of gas, flip. We're probably running out of gas, honestly. I might get the part, but I don't think we're getting back from getting the part. We'll have to see. I don't know how bad it's going to be down there. I expect it to be really awful, which means we might not get it. But I don't see another place to get gas. It isn't going the whole way back. Actually, how far back is the gas? The gas is a good ways back, right? Yeah, gas is all the way back there. I mean, honestly. Oh, wait. That bridge is missing. Wait. Yeah, we'll just go for it. The bridge is missing, so I can't really get back to the gas station. Do you want a trick for gas? If it's a trick like exploity trick, then no. Like if it's very clearly not intended design. There's not a fuel tanker? There could be. I don't know where one's on this map. The other map we found 2 or 3 of them. Actually, was there a fuel tanker? I thought they... Yeah, so we had the fuel tanker and the fuel station down there, but this bridge isn't here, so I have to go all the way over, down, and around. Across that tenuous bridge we got over here from. And I don't see another fuel tanker. That's okay. It's a game mechanic, but a bit cheesy. Nah, it's okay. We can do it without. Read recently that they're adding a new one to these games. Less focus on industry, more exploration. Yep. Expeditions. I will definitely be checking that out when it comes out. I like the idea because, to me, that one's going to potentially have a lot of areas where there just aren't roads at all. And so, like, that'd be kind of the difference. So instead of here where it's like roads have gone murky and destroyed and all that, that you'd potentially be, you know, the first time people going through areas or near first time-ish. It'll be a lot more all-terrain considerations or just going out in the middle of nowhere swamp or desert or whatever. I don't actually know the map types, but you get the idea. It's more the exploration, like it's more what I'm doing right now in the game and less about get trailer with steel beams. They still, my understanding is they'll still have some of that kind of stuff. They'll be more focused on the exploration. Ever played the previous games? I have not. This is my first in the series. I don't think we're gonna make it to that upgrade in time. I think the gas is gonna do us in. It could go back to the Smith Dam. That's, like I said, we'll take our chances. Because it just means we'll just respawn back where we get to recovered to. I don't think we hit a garage. Just get out and push. Well, that's like some of those places where they have you like going way off in the middle of nowhere. Okay, so let's see here. So that's where I've got marked, is that there might be a trail along here. I'm feeling... I mean, I guess. Oh, we've already left what was looking like a trail. Hey, the follow. What a dream. You want to play this game so bad? I mean, it's available. Okay. Thank you, tree, for stopping me from just careening down the hill. Oh, it's expensive there? Steam doesn't accept pesos? Gotcha. Yeah, I hear you on that. Where's the upgrade part? Oh, I am way farther over this way than I thought it was. Okay. Okay, this seems pretty rocky, so we should be able to just scooch right on along. Alright, so let's try going back this way, and I don't think we can make it out of here. I'm really, really low on gas. But again... Oh wait, can I just go across there? There's no vehicle over here. This might be a garage. Let's go for it. Because I don't think we're making it out of here. Because of gas. I'm down to 3 gallons. Yeah, no, I know, Ojimana. Ojimana's good people. Okay, so let's try and get through here real fast, and... See that? It's when it streams you backseat so hard. There are content creators who are 100% cool with backseating. There are also content creators who are 100% not cool with backseating. Oh, yeah. Alright, we're gonna try our best. We're down to 2 gallons left in our tank. My hope is that this is a garage over here, because then I can top off, we can go through the tunnel to the dam again. Yep, that's a good approach, Holiday, saying my policy is to not say anything unless the streamer explicitly asks. Yep, I mean, that's fine. The other thing you can always do is just ask. Be like, hey, is it okay? Like, would you like me to tell something about this? Is this okay? Like, that kind of thing. Like, because, and as in respect to the, you know, content creators, like, no. Like, that's the big thing. I've had a lot of people who will ask, and then you say, I'd rather you not. And then you can almost feel like the pain they're in that they just really want to say. Oh, I was really counting on this being a garage over here. Well, let's go ahead and discover this for the XP. Yeah, nope, it definitely is not a garage. So I'm gonna go on a thought here. I don't think, with 2 gallons left, we're gonna make it over there. Considering I'm pretty sure, yeah, this is done. Okay, it's a recover. And it's gonna take me back to the previous segment of the map. Well, actually 2 segments back, which is fine. So are any of those things for me? Oh, weird. That actually hurts its power to weight ratio. Alright. So where am I on the map? Okay, so I'm up here. Got a bunch of lost vehicles. So let's pop over here real fast. Oh, there's fallen rocks. Yeah, we can go... That looks like it's pretty soupy over there. This looks like it might be a bad time. We can go for the upgrade. And then back down there. And find her the way to that watchtower. Also makes it more prone to tipping. Don't abuse recover. Oh no, if someone wants to complain about that, I will sit there and just drive like 10 minutes and immediately recover again and again. Yeah, that'd be one of those things my response would be, don't tell me how to play the game. Like, that's kind of one of those things you run into, is when someone sits there and they complain about that stuff, you kind of go out of your way to do more of it and be like, uh-huh. Uh-huh, does this upset you? Uh-huh. Like, that's, I had one time in Farming Simulator that on our Survivor Man challenge run, we are running the universal autoloader mod, which all that does is for like trailers, you can pull up to pallets and it pulls them into the trailer. And the person's like, "Oh, you use universal autoloader?" It's like, what a scrub kind of thing. Like, I'm paraphrasing here, potentially to a bit more harsh than they were being. And I was kind of like, look, man, I have these things. They're spitting out something like 40 pallets plus, you know, a cycle. You know what I don't want to do? sit here for 2 hours picking up pallets with a forklift. But yeah, and they were like, oh, well, you're just not obeying the rules of the challenge. And I'm kind of sitting there going, like, there's no formal rules of this challenge. What are you talking about? It's like every third person has entirely different rules that they do the Survivor Man challenge. Like, it's a thematic challenge. It's like 0 to hero runs in, like, The Sims or in Project Zomboid or, you know, pick your poison, any game. That they're a thematic run, that they don't have, these are the hard rules you must obey. If it's a single-player game, and you don't take away from someone else explicit experience, who cares to play? Exactly. But yeah, now it's as well as ones that's like, you know, they're like, no, this is the rules of challenge. And then it's like, oh, here's like some of the largest content creators in that entire genre on multiple platforms. Hey, they have their own, like, they each have their own rule set. It's like, it's fine. It's the thematic. It's like, if you're looking for hard, sweaty farm sim action, you've come to the wrong place. We have fun here. I give myself challenges, but I also, like, there's a line where it goes from challenge to tedium. You do like hard mode and you have co-op partners. Oh yeah, that's all fine. Does it actually have your game where you pay everything? Oh, yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like, if you're down for that kind of challenge, like, that's, I mean, for me, I haven't played this game enough to be like, okay, it's time to hard mode. Like, I'm still a relatively new player, and like I said, I think it's actually a mistake a lot of people in games go into, which is they will be new to a game and they'll be like, oh no, I'm a, you know, good player. I have to play it on hard. That kind of stuff. You know, you're talking about the difference? No, I got that. But then other people were, just talking about playing it on hard to thing. But yeah, no, I definitely, like, every game is like, what is the default settings? That's where I'll start. If I start in those settings, I'm like, it's not hard enough. Then, you know, I can turn it up. And just the same, if I'm like, you know what, I don't like this, I can also turn it down. Usually I end up turning it up more than down, but still. Then, like, there's some, because some games, the easy to hard difficulty isn't really actually easy or hard, it's tedium. So, like, games where it's like, oh, it's a survival game, and you have to eat more on the hard difficulty. But food is really easy to come by, it just takes effort. And then it's like, okay, but that just means I have to grow twice as much. It doesn't actually make it harder. It just means I'm burning more time just tending a field. Like, that happens a lot. And it's not survival games specifically. That happens a lot in a lot of games. Or harder to make money like in Farm Sim. See, I don't mind that one. Like, I could definitely see where people would feel the same way I feel about the games that make you eat more as, like, the difficulty to survival. It slows down progression. But I do like games that slow down progression a lot of times. Again, it depends on how. There we go. Got ourselves back on track. Alright, so let's backtrack down there. For me, it depends on your patience. Well, that's also true. There's games that I enjoy depending on my headspace. Like, there's definitely games that if I'm in the mood for a challenge, I'm really down for, like, you know, really struggling through the game, like, every inch of the way. And then there's absolutely games that, like, if you're not in the right headspace, are just not a good time. Especially the games that have like lots of quality of life and jank problems. So it's not even like the difficulty of the game, it's fighting with shortcomings in the game's engine kind of thing. So stuff where like, you know, games where sometimes the physics just break and you just lose a mission because the physics breaking, or one of the only achievements I'm missing for X3 Terran Conflict was their hardcore permadeath kind of mode. On the... where, I mean, it's... you start with the worst character. Managed to catch up before it kept going over too far. But, the issue with how it does it is it takes your save file when you open your save file and it deletes it. So the problem with that is if the game crashes, which the game crashes a lot, you just lose your progress. So that was definitely one of those ones that if you're not in a good headspace, doing that, like trying to go for that achievement, that challenge, you're just going to be angry. And it's always a frustrating thing, because I do like permadeath ones, but your game needs to be in a good place stability-wise and all that if you're going to have a mode like that. Or you got to be a little bit more forgiving about that people, you know, you can risk the person alt F4ing out when they're about to die and getting away with it. Like, you got to be willing to risk that. They're only cheating themselves when they do that kind of thing. What game? That was, I was referring to X3 Terran Conflict. It's a, it's like, grand strategy's not the right word. It's a space simulation game that has, like, an economy and everything that you go through and all that as well. But there's a main story to it, if you want. And so they had an achievement for putting it on permadeath and then completing the main story on the worst start. Sounds like Path of Exile hardcore. Game crashes all the time, get you killed. I was fortunate, so I have the achievements, and this is not where I meant to go. I'm up here now, so we're just gonna keep going with it. But I was fortunate in Path of Exile that when I went to do the achievements for hitting like level 90, and I did the push for a level 100 hardcore character, I think I only died once to like a desync / crash / disconnect kind of issue. I don't remember exactly what happened, but I did definitely have one death that, you know, the character became unresponsive, and then you did like the quick logout thing because it's like, oh, the game is not, like, my character's loaded in, but I'm not seeing what they're experiencing anymore. And it does the thing where it hangs for a number of seconds. And you're like, oh, this character's super dead. And they were. But most of the other deaths were, you know, just running into, like, we were in that... Please. Nope. Alright, we finally rolled it. That's okay, it's on the wrong path. Alright, so let's go ahead and recover that. That's fine. I was going like the wrong way from where I wanted to go anyways. Bear with me for a second, chat. I need to use the restroom again. So I'll be back here in just a couple minutes, and thank you again for tuning in. Get more involved. I don't want to be here. I missed. And since there's two sides of that airlock, this shouldn't be really that bad. Well, we've lost. I thought we had depressurized it. So that's the thing that confused me, is we depressurized it, and was exposed to the entire opening. Well, and that brings the end of our hard space shipbreaker run. Some of those really, really, really old Project Zomboid clips back when I, had multi-hit turned on and all that stuff. It's always weird going back and seeing those be like, oh man, alright, so... Okay. Wanna play now? I mean, are you saying you want to play now? Because, I mean, no one's stopping you. Alright, so we did get our upgrade. Oh, right. Let's, because I think it said the upgrade was for this vehicle, the engine upgrade. So let's go check on that real fast. Multiplayer? Oh, no thank you. Yeah, generally speaking, I tend to play mostly solo, and usually if I am going to play multiplayer, it's going to be with someone who I've had around for a while. Like, I usually won't just hop into someone who's popped into chat for the very first time. Okay. And a better engine, I assume. Literally, it doesn't tell me anything one way or the other. Let's see. Decades old, trust reliable enough to work well in spite of its age. Thoroughly reworked variant of an outdated engine increases power output at the cost of reliability. Physically damaged tends to make you lose power and consume more fuel much sooner. What's interesting, though, is it doesn't change any of the stats on this. Which is fine. We do have a multiplayer day coming up, though? We do. More than likely, I would expect there to be more people for that day than we can play with this. But we can find that out. Let's see. Did you know you can sell unused parts? Yeah, no, I figured as much. Right now, I'm just kind of going around to try and get stuff. Because what I figure is going to happen is we're going to end up getting new vehicles, getting new upgrades, that kind of stuff. So I'll probably end up wanting other vehicles. And then we can just do some cleanup then. Because, I might find a scout I like even more than... or a, scout-style vehicle. Then I might like way more in this one. And then just get rid of this one entirely. Or not. We don't know. Really? After all that time with no problem. Immediately flips it. It's fine. We had 2 really early flips, then no flips for several hours. And then 2 flips back to back. Can you make a recommendation? No. I would... For a new scout? No. That's actually specifically the kind of information I don't want, is people saying, go get that vehicle. And thank you for the 3-stream watch streak, Lunar Bell. I really do appreciate that. Oh, for the people who are at the beginning. Yeah, like I said, I forgot to go through the call at the beginning of stream. I just got distracted with all the announcements. Where normally after the announcements... Oh, please. There we go. Want to save? Yeah, no, I'm finding this road is very easy. Like, I'm not having to use the gas almost at all. It's a steep hill, so we're just kind of careening down it. So it's a bit of a tenuous hill. Yep. No, that's to be clear, that's the kind of stuff I actually specifically want to avoid. Is like people are like, oh, you should get this specific tire, or I mean, that's not too bad. But like when people are like, get that tire. It's like, yeah, well, I'm literally going to go on my way to not get it now. Or like the same thing is like, you need to get this vehicle. A lot of times I will like maliciously not do the thing. Now it's different if I'm like, hey, I don't know what's good, what is a good, like if I was to ask kind of things, that's a different story because now I've put it out there that I'm looking for that information. Because once someone just hands you like, this is the best vehicle, now you just have that. Like there's no going back in time before you had that information. And like very genuinely, there's a lot of games I wish I could kind of go into my brain and then delete that game from my brain so I could experience it again and go through the learning it and figuring it out all over. Sadly, that's not a thing you can do. Like, I would love to be able to go into my brain and just delete all of my knowledge of Project Zomboid and play it again. Like, I very genuinely wish that was the thing I could do. It's not, but it is the thing I wish I could do. I wish I could do that for Undertale. I wish I could do that for Doki Doki Literature Club. I wish I could do that for, like, Kenshi and Stardew Valley. You can't replay anything because of that? Yep. Alright, we got a stretch here. I'll do that stretch in a moment. But, like, there's a lot of games that once you've kind of achieved the knowledge... Ooh, I didn't notice how bad that was the first time because it's busy being focused on that. Alright. I don't know if that goes over there. Let's see, it looks like there might be a path right along that fence we can take. Yeah, I don't replay, reread, rewatch stuff, usually because of that. Yeah, no, it's one of those things that's really, really tough. There's some stuff that's, like, plenty easy to replay, like, with knowledge. Like, I actually would say, for me personally, playing a game like Noita, that's a game, even when you kind of got, like, all the knowledge on it and all that, it's still a really good time. You can still very much enjoy it. Versus there's definitely games that once you've played through them and you kind of know how they work, like you just cannot have the same fun you had when you were still learning. Like Project Zomboid is actually guilty for that. When you're first playing a game, like first playing Project Zomboid, and you have all of these different systems. They're like, oh man, I got to juggle this and that, and where can I find these? And like, there's all of these different things you're trying to learn, and it makes it so interesting and exciting. And as you get better and better at the game and more knowledgeable, you start to realize you can ignore like 90% of the systems in the game, and it will have no adverse effect on your gameplay in any way, shape, or form. Like the regular infection mechanic, one, you have to get injured for it to matter. You see outside the box, yeah, you start to see the game engine and how it works, as opposed to the way the game is perceived, kind of thing. So I still don't see how we get there. Let's poke back here, and I think that road's gonna be what it is. But yeah. The other stuff that, but I have friends who replay stuff like about Baldur's Gate 3, and yeah. Well, that's the other thing, is like, you play games, you'll start to realize what skills do and don't work well. And to a certain thing, it's nice to know you can find success by knowing the place you get yourself in trouble. But on the other hand, when you know, like, the meta strategy, so you know what to completely avoid and all that kind of stuff, it's also just one of those things that it kind of hurts your enjoyment of the game, because you're like, oh, I could play that way, but if I do, then I know I'm kind of self-sabotaging myself in a way that's probably going to be frustrating. I know I'm supposed to go around, but I don't feel like it. I wish the camera was not trying to do whatever it's trying to do on me. Alright. Here's his, like, you know a lot about Pacific, you can still want to down over. Let's see, Jay says, that's more of an individual issue. If you can't get out of the min-max mindset, it's not really a game but a player issue. Sometimes you deliberately do that. Well, that's kind of the thing. Like, when you look at a lot of games, and it is a player issue, you're not wrong that you get stuck in the mindset of, like, well, this is better, so why would I do the other? And you're not wrong with that. To be clear, that is very much on the player, but it is kind of a thing that can sap your enjoyment of a game when you very clearly can see... Let's actually go this way. Go for that. You very clearly can see it's like, I am playing this way, but I objectively know this is... like, this way is ultimately just a worse version of the other way. And so every like time you struggle a little bit, you kind of sit there and go, right. And it can kind of hurt the fun of it. Like, when you're playing a game, they go, okay, you've got... Like, if there's a skill evasion, there's a skill dodge. And you look at it, and they're both defensives. And then you look at it and go, okay, you look at them and they seem balanced. When you play, like, dodge is, like, 50% better than evasion. Like, we're just making believe here, so that's not, like, a real thing. But, like, you have these skills that both are defensives, and one is just objectively clear-cut the better of the two. There's no reason to ever consider the other one. When you don't know the game, you don't know that, you might take the other one, and it's not going to bother you. But when you play later, and you're not going to choose the other one because you know it's just worse. And you can do the same thing with, like, weapon categories. They're like, oh, this game has, like, maces and all that, but, like, with the way the game mechanics work, maces are just crappier swords in the game. So, like, literally, there's no reason to ever choose maces in this game, because, like, the supposed benefit of maces just is meaningless by comparison. And it kind of just takes an entire weapon class out that you can actively sabotage yourself saying, well, I'm going to use maces anyways because style. But it just doesn't feel good. And that's a balance problem with the games more than anything. But those are just, examples I'm giving in general. Versus, like, with Project Zomboid, I'll use that as the example. When you're first playing, it's like you sit there and you, like, start stressing out about winter coming. You're going, oh man, winter's going to be so rough. Where am I going to go find food and all this kind of stuff? And then you come to the realization there is just so much food on the map that you could just not do anything and be fine. And if not, like, you could just forage through winter and you'll still be relatively fine, as long as you're not worried about weight loss, and if then, you just trap. Can food just go bad? Yeah, in Project Zomboid it can. So, there's some food that never goes bad, like canned goods just never go bad. And there's a lot of food that'll go bad, usually within the first, second, or third month, depending on how long the power survives. But by the third month, if it can spoil, it's gone. You just blew your mind by the path you took on the farm? I mean, it looked fine to me. There's like one spot that's a little mucky. That one, it felt like it was pretty clear. Which I bet I got lost. We were talking about Project Zomboid. Basically, just in games in general. Well, that's... What do you mean? Is that not... Why can you not winch on the train directly in front of you? That's kind of what I was counting on, was just winching on the tree directly in front. Does this truck have diff lock? Always. Diff lock is permanently on in the truck. We are technically moving forward. So the truck isn't stuck if it's moving at all. It may not be making good time and you may run out of gas, but we are slowly rotating. Like, if you need to see, you can see like we're slowly carving a path sideways. Let's actually see. I was kind of hoping we could just pull ourselves out and just go up a little ways. Like, I see that it's swampy, I just wasn't expecting it to be... I'm trying... There we go. Stop. Yeah, so it's rotating at decent speed. I'm still thrown off that I can't... Like, I wasn't expecting that tree to put up with it very long. But I was expecting to get just that little nudge forward. Yeah, no, if it would have just gone slightly to the right or left, it would have been fine. I just didn't notice that the mud was this bad until I was already in it. All right. Hey, Lunti, how's it going? Yeah, I'm just trying to wiggle it back and forth until we can get ourselves anywhere. How far back is the garage? Oh, I don't want to go all the way that far back. We'll fight it. Yeah, no, you can play co-op and have like a buddy avoid. Yeah, or get stuck as well. We are inching forward very slowly this way. Like, it probably shouldn't be in the high gear, but... I still cannot believe that tree isn't a winchable spot. All right. Because what's likely to happen is we're going to pull those back wheels far enough forward that does get up through there. Because that's my hope. We're pretty dug in back there. That's why I was starting to try and keep actually turning that off. I just need to get the tires out of the ruts. The problem is I've beached us. You can see like the Miller truck is just sitting on the mud. So I'm just trying to get it so it's not beached on there. The moment I get off of the being beached on there, we'll just zip away, no problem. The problem is I'm having issues getting to that point. You're so close to making it out of there, too. Can you also get stuck? Yeah, no, the rear is definitely down there. But like if I can get these front wheels up at all, we just have to be able to pull the back tires out. But yeah. Guess where mud tires come in? Yeah. We have the off-road tires, we just don't have the mud tires. Like, I know I'm fighting it being stubborn, I just don't want to drive the entire map back. If I can wiggle to get us to the next spot, I'm gonna do it. I just want you to rotate a little bit more. Just so you're not in those same ruts. Or on fuel trying. Well, that's the time limit. Is we run out of fuel if we don't go. Like it's the whole thing about all I have to do is just get it for just a second to like catch in the front, just lift it the tiniest bit forward, and we can just get that little bit. That's all it's going to take to pull this thing out. But I've got to get there, and the problem is we're just like right in the middle of the soup. Now, granted, we've made it. We've actually made a little ways across. You can see the track behind us where we were, but we are solidly caught in here now. and I just cannot get out. Do we upgrade the winch? We have not. I believe I can get the extended winch, though, which would solve... Well, actually, I don't know if it'd solve this problem, because like I said, that tree over there is just not winchable, which is the thing I had kind of expected. Yeah, I think we're just absolutely screwed. I've just beached it way too much. I just really didn't want to go. But let's go ahead and add the winch on here. I just really didn't want to recover because that's how far away we were. And I can't even go straight there. I have to go around. But that is what it is. Let's see. Have you done the logging missions yet? No. We had just gotten to the second map and I started exploring it. So that's where we've been at, is just exploring, getting all of the watchtowers, grabbing the upgrades, grabbing vehicles, stuff like that. I've heard the logging missions are pretty rough. Okay. This game must be good for getting your money's worth? Yeah. Oh yeah. That's what I figured, is there'll be lots. I mean, even if we sit there and we drive around the map and we unlock all the vehicles and they're all garbage, they become money. That means I can get, you know, a different truck that I want. That's the whole thing. It's like 2% of the game. I know it says the percent on the front part of it, or thing, and like for this section we're in, and there was, you know, counting DLC, there's something like 10 maps or whatever, so we're more than 2%. But yeah, no, we're not super far. But yeah, now the game definitely has a lot of content to it, which I appreciate. Because usually, it is one of the things, like, a lot of these kinds of simulation games, they end up being very shallow, where it's like, they've got cool physics, and the game engine's good and all that, and then you play it, and you knock it out in, like, 30, 40 hours. Versus, you know, MudRunner games do seem to be a very big exception to that kind of generalization. That they end up being particularly large. Or they end up being the other way, which is a mild wide, skin deep. Like, you know, where, like, you can sit there and this isn't a bad thing, but, like American Truck Simulator and Microsoft Flight Simulator be there, where they've got tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of stuff in them, but there's not, like, it's, you make what you want of it. It's kind of open-ended, where you choose go from place A to B, and that's kind of what the game is, which there's nothing wrong with that. But it is mile wide, skin deep, that there isn't huge amount of depths in the different systems in the game. If I remember correctly, there are 24 maps as of 2 years ago. Not sure it's released with the new release since then. Yeah, so 24 maps. We have basically all but fully cleared one map. Like, we have the mission that goes between the different maps. So I wouldn't be surprised, especially when you consider, like, there was the one map in this one that's very tiny. The last section was a very small map. So we're definitely more than 2%. But yeah, we're still not super far. Then a lot of games, they tend to front load them quite a bit, where the first map tends to be one of the more involved maps in a lot of games. Other than, like, the very last DLC ones. But yeah, the point is, game big. That part is true. Game big is big, and we still have definitely not hit the majority of the game. Some of the DLC have less maps? Gotcha. Okay, so we got a telephone pole. What? Where did I put that way? But that's fine. Automatic trucks 2 per region. Varies from 2 to 4. Okay. They did misplace the marker. It's not that I misplaced the mark. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I see what you're saying. Misplace the marker ahead and then drop back. Yes, I thought you meant this one. I was like, well, no, that's actually more in line. I still want, whether it's a DLC or the next version of Farm Sim, I want them to add orchards. Like apple trees or nut trees or pear trees or citrus. I don't really care what kind, but like to have tree fruit. Well, I should say tree produce. I think the nut trees would be the easiest to implement. Just because the harvesting for them is they basically just have a big machine that grabs a tree and shakes it real fast, like gives a really hard shake and all the nuts fall off. And then they have a second vehicle that follows, and that's a glorified broom. That just kind of brooms it into the center, then scoop it up. Yeah, so I already got that one. You start in that zone? Yeah, no, I've had a bunch of people say the game gets easier and easier and easier, and then you hit Alaska. Is what I've heard. Is like as you get more and more upgrades, the game just starts to become easier for you, and then you hit Alaska. And that Alaska is, like, the place that makes or breaks people. Right, let's go ahead and toggle to daytime, because I don't want to deal without being able to see. He'll humble you quickly. Alaska and Russia. In Alaska, you have to make compromises sometimes, like tire choice. Yeah, no, I've already had spoiled to me that there's like, you go across ice that can break. So there's kind of a thing where it's important that you cross the ice quickly. So often you have to make considerations there where you give yourself a worse time dealing on the roads. just to be like, no, you've gotta get through. The spoilers, I mean? Yeah. Fortunately, there hasn't been too many. But that's just unfortunately the reality. That's, now there will be no funny clip of Rual singing his truck driving over the ice. Yeah, you won't have the clip of me starting to drive on the ice and going, oh, wait. And then you hear, like, the cracking sound, or, like, I don't know, like, mechanically how it works. But, like, you won't hear the cracking sound and me be like, oh, wait, no, really? And that momentary panic before we go through the water because I'm just ill-equipped for it or whatever. But nope. That clip doesn't get to become a reality, because spoilers. You don't know how to spoil? Yeah, but I mean, that's not... Like, that's kind of the whole thing. And a lot of times, people don't mean to do it. And you also have people who have the crappy attitude where they're like, oh, well, you're playing online, you should just expect spoilers. I'm like, no. It's the same thing if I hadn't had a chance to watch a series because I've been busy on television and I invite someone, like someone comes by my house and spoils it, I'll just ask them to leave. And by that I mean I'll tell them to leave. It still means they've ruined the experience. But I was not expecting that to be that soupy. Never tried him out with one could be. Yeah, well, no, that's the whole thing. It's like people. There are people who come into it for malice, but most of the time, it's people are just very passionate about the game, and don't think about, oh man, that's gonna be rough. All right, I think we actually go down there farther, but. Yeah, no, usually it's just one of those things that people get very passionate about the game, and the worst thing is they ruin it for themselves, that instead of seeing the person kind of figuring it out and all that kind of stuff, which is usually a lot of the fun, that they can't help themselves, and so they kind of give way too much information, and ends up making it way less of an enjoyable experience to watch and all that. Okay, so the routes I'm seeing is that looks like it's going to be pretty bad. I think, honestly, we go around this way and come in from behind. Because I'm not seeing what looks like an obvious mud bridge or anything. That's the thing we don't know, is there could be a bridge here we can't really see, like, just under the water level. But this seems relatively okay. Can we even cross that? That's what I was gonna say, is we don't know. That's it, you banned someone for giving away at the end of the game, and they're like, why did you ban me? I did nothing wrong. I have had people give unban requests. I've never had anyone give an unban request for backseating. Now that said, I haven't had to ban many people for backseating. I mean, actually, I don't think I've had to ban anyone for backseating specifically. I've had to ask people to cut it out, and then they left. But usually people are pretty good about it. I can't see the bottom. And I'm going by the strategy you do in real life, is if you cannot see the bottom of the water you are trying to cross, do not try to cross it. Because for all you know, it's a sinkhole. So you might go to drive and just go bloop. Right down into it. Spoken like a sinkhole land, Florida calling. Yup. So I don't think those are anchorable points out there. Alright, so we do have some flotsam out there. Let's try going this way. There's not much flotsam here, which does concern me. I'm already hesitating trying to deal with that. I went and immediately started getting stuck in the mud like 2 inches in. It's like, let's try a different route. Let's go with the area with flotsam. We are properly beached on this rock. Okay, because there was flotsam here. So let's go with the flotsam as opposed to trying to go on that muck bridge there. And I definitely cannot really make out... Actually, we can make that better. I'm overthinking this way too much. I was like, I'm overthinking this way too much. I was sitting there like going, oh, we'll take this route. It's like, oh, you can just drive on that. Don't worry about it. What if we drive right at it? Pretty much where that went. So I've got more quests there. So we got an upgrade over here. So... yeah, so the next waypoint's way down there, so that requires backtracking going across the dam. So we're going to go for this. So we're going to try and go across the way we just went. And it looks like it's pretty soupy over here. So we'll see what way we actually take that across. What did I drive over there that hit my... We just took, like, a third of our suspension by just, like, backing up a little bit. I'm okay with that if it makes sense. But yeah, it's like, when we hit a landmine, but, like, what tree did we hit that hit us that hard? Like, to slowly go over and just suspension, minus 31. You know, going 5 miles an hour, if that. I was putting all that time and effort into it, and literally was just, yeah, have you tried driving? Okay, we're back on to what we're calling a road here. Yep, okay. Not really a road, just the shore. And this is pretty soupy the last time, too. That's okay. We got plenty of anchor points in range if things get bad. Because you never had this game that maybe to go out, like, get a steering wheel pedals like this game. I've heard people having some pretty mixed experience with the steering wheels. I've had some people who seem that said it was really good, and I've had other ones say that, like, dealing with the winch and all that with the steering wheel is a rough time. So I don't know where it actually stands kind of as the big thing, but I've heard very mixed things. That like some people like absolutely love it, and then some people are like, no, you really don't want to. So I don't know personally. I don't have a steering wheel. I did add, like, I don't promote it as much as I probably should. I do have what's known as Throne, which it's a gift list that content creators can put up. That way, you know, people who want to do more than just like, here's $10 or whatever, that they want to be like, here's $10 towards something. That's what that's for. But it did ultimately update it to put a it's like a steering wheel pedal slash. It's got controls for like if we want to do if we want to do like construction simulator or farming simulator. It's got like, you know, a control panel as well. I didn't put that on the list. I don't expect anyone to do anything. Like, I don't like, it's a whole thing, you know, people chucking money at the channel. I don't expect anything. Obviously, when people do, it means a lot. Yeah, wheel dispense. Those look mucky. It does look very mucky. I was just thinking, it's like, man, I really hope there's some anchor points, because I feel like this is one of those places that you could very easily put a parking brake on there. So I could definitely drive on that. My concern is rolling. The other side would be easier to not roll, except for I can't quite get a good look at that rock straight in front of me. Alright, I think what I'm going to do is we're going to back up. I'm going to try and go over this ridge here on the left. I'm going to do this real slowly. Alright, so we've got the upgrade. Is there anything else up here to do while we're here? So I don't think we can cross there, so it does look like I'm here. My fuel is at 39%, so I think we're resetting back here, taking the route down, going across the dam, and grabbing the last of those. So let's do that. And then we're probably on recovery duty for vehicles. We also have an upgrade down there. Where's the watchtower? Oh, it's way down there. So honestly, that doesn't look like a bad upgrade to get. That looks like a pretty straightforward upgrade to get. Which means it's probably terrible. That'll probably leave the controller mode on. Alright, so you gotta go down this hill that begs you to just roll again and again. How are we doing on time? Oh. Alright, well we'll get this upgrade. It's getting pretty close to the time we normally switch during the stream. For those who don't know, I do stream 9 hours pretty much every day but Thursdays. And we'll just save ourselves real fast, don't mind me. But so usually what I'll do is I'll play 2 games a night. So realistically, we're going to go a little bit longer with SnowRunner, go get ourselves our upgrade and all that kind of stuff. maybe we go to the Watchtower, maybe not. I haven't decided that yet. But then the other game we're playing tonight is Farming Sim 22, where we've been doing the Survivor Man Challenge. Thank you for the follow. Welcome to the stream. For those who don't know, the Survivor Man Challenge it's not like a hard rule set kind of challenge, but my version of the Survivor Man Challenge is we started with $0, a chainsaw, and a dream on a map called No Man's Land. And then from there...
Yay.
Thank you for the 100 biddies. I owe a Lego for that. So I'll do that here when we go to the Switch. Don't let me forget. I want to make sure we're being honest with the... Oh, wait. I owe 2 Legos. Someone gave me 100 biddies earlier. I forgot about that. So I owe 2 Legos. So don't let me forget that. But, yeah, we also started with a truck. But the idea is you're not allowed to loan or lease anything. You're on the hardest economy settings the game has. You start with $0, a chainsaw. You also start with a plot of land, because otherwise you physically can't make money, which would make the challenge literally impossible. But yeah, so you build up from basically nothing. We've been doing that for a while now. And at this point, I can't remember, I think we're at 4 or 5 tiles of land we own. We're making, if I've done the math correct, we're making somewhere in the ballpark of, was it, I know we were making 140,000 a year. I think we're up to 180 by when I get my next payout. Like, we haven't actually gotten the 180 yet. We just bought a plot of land. We're actually still setting up the field on it. But it's kind of a slow burn run. Now, the thing that's going to be interesting about it is going to be... There was also a sub earlier. I have been really not on the ball. So that's 3 Legos I owe. 3 Legos I owe. So thank you for that. So we can go ahead and get that when it's time to do the flip over. But yeah, so we've been getting pretty far. But it is one of those runs that things start really slowly. Like, really, really slowly. And then... It is one of those things that it gradually builds up speed. Like, as you get things like production lines and all that, where the amount of money you're making each day gets a bit better and a bit better, that you can go faster and faster. And so we are starting to get to the point that our momentum is picking up. We went from, like, struggling with the smallest equipment to we've got a pretty decent seeder. We've got the second largest cultivator. We've got the largest sprayer. So things have been coming along pretty well. You want to try farm sim like that? Yeah, just know you gotta have patience. It is a patience run. Especially the fact that you are going to be doing during that run, like, dealing with the absolute worst seeder, the absolute worst plow in that at your early game, just to make ends meet. Not as hard, but similar. I wouldn't say it's, like, actually that hard at the beginning. It's just slower. Like, it's just when you approach things, instead of just going, oh, I want to make, like, I want to start off with, like, sorghum or whatever. Like, I just want to start off growing soybeans right from the thing, and you can make a mistake and try and do that. So you manage to buy the stuff, you put it in the ground, and realize you can't afford the harvester, and you get to watch all that effort just rot. Because you... Hey, could you not wiggle the camera like that? That's very upsetting. Okay. So the bridge is gone there. That's clearly also gone. That looks like it's a maybe. Which is fine. We're going to go around the other way. Camera collision? Yeah, and I get why they do that, because it was a thing that used to happen, especially in, like, old N64 games. So, like, when 3D was properly showing up versus, like, Super Nintendo, yes, there was some 3D, but not that much. Or, like, usually it was 3D, but the camera just kind of hovered over it. But, like, they had the problems, they had, like, lots of those games after a while, that they hadn't really figured out the... You know, 3D was new, so they hadn't figured out, like, all the shortcomings. Hey, Sap, thank you so much for the raid. I do hope you had yourself a good stream. And, you know, welcome in raiders and all that good stuff. But what were you playing, and how did stream go? That was interesting. New players navigate the map. When I know, like, the bottom of my pocket. Well, yeah, that's the whole thing. Is there's times where I'll be like, oh, this is not the way to go. Very clearly, look at the map. That's bad. And then you go there and you're like, oh wait, never mind. It's just like stone, like 2 inches under the water. That thing that looks like an insurmountable route is just easy peasy. And then just the other, sometimes you go someplace that looks okay, and it's just absolutely awful. You know what? I will try and go for the. Where's the watchtower? We will try and go for that. I figure I'm here. I'm not going to remember what the heck I was doing when we get back. So let's grab that watchtower so that ADHD brain doesn't have to remember the things it's not going to remember. Because, like, this game I don't have... I mean, actually, this game you can make it easier to tell where things are. I can put down the waypoints and then leave the waypoints up. Yeah, no, it is a downside. But it's also those things that if I play a game like the whole stream, like sometimes like if I'm really zoning in a game, I can just play a whole stream and be happy with it. But it is those things that if I play the same game like for 9 straight hours again and again, like even if I'm enjoying the game, you're usually like, all right, brain wants something a little different. That is a mighty strong current going over there. Burnout's a thing? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, no, absolutely. You'll forget what the heck is going on. That's, I was having fun playing Baldur's Gate 3 on my own time. Is there a bridge up there? Is that what I'm seeing? No, that's where the bridge is missing. I'm seeing, like, the framework. Okay, so I'm a little concerned about how fast this current is. But, you know... The worst thing that can happen is we just bottom out and we can't keep going. It seems relatively okay. It seems like we just need to go for it and not slow down long enough for the engine to drown. So that spot looks like it's a no-go. It looks like you need to go up the stream more for that spot. No, I got you. I got you, Dragos. That's pretty typical of pretty much, honestly, all the Bethesda games. Accidentally walking up to a vendor and then slapping him with a sword, or blasting a vendor with a gun or whatever. That's been a meme in games for ages, where you're just like walk up and all. Like I don't think they do it in that one, but there's a lot of the games. The talk button and the attack button are the same button, and so if you're just slightly too far away, you slap the person with your weapon. Which then they aggro and they never want to talk to you again. That's that used to be one of the things I really really did not like. That was a thing that would happen in the Souls games. You'd get you'd kill a boss, so you'd still be, depending on which one, whether it's embered or whatever, and someone would come in, like PvP is on, they would invade your world. And they would try and just, like, troll attack you by an NPC. So you couldn't really swing back at them because you'd hit the NPC and then it would mess up your world. And you could run away and leave them, but there's places in some of the games that you could sit there by the vendor and they had, like, bows that have an explosion radius and you have to go along a narrow walkway. So if you tried to continue, you'd have to manage to try and bait out those attacks so you could sneak across the dangerous walkway. And there's just ways that people could troll you in that so badly. Like, I enjoyed them in Invasion Mechanica. Usually I had it on, but there was definitely days I was just like, nah, I don't want to deal with this. But usually, most of them, they had like an opt-out of you just don't use whatever the thing is, like embering or humanity or whatever. Okay, so you'll be down here. Oh yeah, no, there's also like Dark Souls as well as games that didn't handle lag very well. That there was people who could like maliciously use lag. Bouncing real hard here. Let's explorers legit come in and break your gear. Oh yeah, no, they had that one. Like the most insidious one ever, and it's still a problem because it could still be done. Is that you'd have someone come in. They figured out ways that they could like literally put items into your inventory. So it'd hack an item, put it in your inventory, and then your account would get flagged for cheating. Let's continue file. Yeah, so like you would get banned permanently from being able to play multiplayer. And it was someone maliciously hopping in and just dropping it in. They can brick entire characters in Elden Ring. Yeah, it's always surprised me how incredibly bad FromSoft is when it comes to multiplayer and that kind of stuff. Like every FromSoft title that's had multiplayer has had that issue. And sometimes they manage to patch it, and sometimes they don't. Because, like, at first it was people could drop a hacked item, and if you picked it up, you were at risk of getting your account suspended, banned from multiplayer and all that. And then, like... Then it's like they fixed that, or, like, there's enough caution going around in the community and whatnot. And then so they fixed that, but then hackers just figured out a way to like literally put the item in your inventory, so that it required no action on you as the player. Yeah, no, you can disable multiplayer, but there's so many functions in the game tied to the multiplayer mechanic that disabling it really is kind of taking a lot out of the game. Disconnects when our player joins. I'm trying to remember if that kicks you back to the bonfire or not. Yeah, there is that kind of stuff that happens though. Is that you will have people that when you invade, that they'll do stuff like they'll deliberately make the game lag. So, like, the person will be connected online, but they'll literally make their connection crap. You think it does? You're never an invader? Yeah, no, if I'm an invader, yeah, it kicks me back to my world. But, I think it might kick the host back to the bonfire, like it reloads their map or whatever. I can't remember. It's probably different for the different games. But I remember there's a reason why you didn't want to. Yeah, like having a huge ping. Yeah, there's literally people can buy hardware stuff called a lag switch. Or you can make software stuff to do it too, that it basically simulates lag. Because there are games that, like, literally, like, generally depending on how you handle lag, it'll either favor the person lagging or it will favor the person who's not lagging. And there's, you know, strong reasons for both of them. There's also, depending on the game, there is, depending on their strategies for tackling latency, it can be advantageous to be the person who, is that a path up? I wish you could see our side, because it kind of looks like a path up. I'm going to take it. This might be a mistake, but that looks like it's a doable path. But, like, for example, first-person shooters, depending on how they handle the lag, there's some games where I can step around the corner, I see you, and can start doing damage to you before on your side you see me step out, because your game is waiting for my position to change. And then there's some games where it works the other way around. So some games that it favors the aggressor, some games it favors the defender. And it, like, really depends on how they handle it. And there's dynamicness to it, so it's not... Like, there's definitely some that have a much better handling of it than others. Looks like go left. But, like, that's the reason why there's certain games that you'll have people, like, hold the position and they won't push in very much. Because very genuinely the game does give a strong advantage to the person's defensive position because of how lag is handled, and vice versa. Like, there's some games that pretty much almost always reward you for being incredibly aggressive. Okay, that's not what I was expecting. So we're, like, in this trough here, so I might be able to go down, like, that way. How's it going, Cerise the Mage? Hope you're having a good one. Never used the path you just did before? It happens. But that's part of the fun when you have, like, a player that's never played before kind of stuff. Is you'll see that stuff. Where someone just... They approach a problem just differently than you. And it's even one of those things... Like, I talked about that. I have literally thousands of hours in Project Zomboid. And I probably was at, like, 1,000-something hours. And after all that time playing, one of the problems you can run into the game is you break a window and you have to remove the broken glass before you climb through, or you risk cutting yourself up. Like, it's really bad. And normally what you'd do is you'd have a tool in your hand like a screwdriver and you'd say remove the broken glass, no problem. But sometimes, especially early game, you might run into a situation where you don't have a tool and you have to go through a window. And someone had just, like, I saw them, they took off their sock, they ripped it into a rag, and they took out the glass of the rag. I'm like, you could do that? Like, 1,000+ hours. And, like, talking to, like, all the other content creators I had been, like, you know, like, all the big names were like, hey, did you know you could do that? And Homer's like, no, I didn't know. And it was because this player just logically made sense, though. It's like, yeah, I'll just get a piece of cloth and I will pick out the bits of glass. Because that's a thing you can actually do in real life. And, you know, then we looked into how the mechanic works and realized anything in your primary hand works, and you can put almost anything in your primary hand. Because it's just a thing. It's just, normally it's a useless thing, so no one really thought about it. Because normally it's you have weapons in your primary hand. Okay, so I think what we're going to do here, this is going to be the point where we switch games. So I am going to keep us right here on this hill, and what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to remind myself that I can go back down this hill, and that we would go around here. To basically have the next thing I would do the next time I play is to go for that upgrade. Ooh, actually, where do you... Okay, so you have... That'll be enough. So I got a bunch of upgrades to do on this map and all that. A bunch of upgrades. There's like 3 right here, another over there. We got a vehicle over here we haven't unlocked. We got a truck down there. But yeah, so I got a bunch of stuff to do on this map. Yeah, there's three upgrades right there. There's a 4th way over here. I have at least 2 vehicles I can recover that are vehicles that are just mine. I've got a bunch of missions we could do, but the idea would be we grab all the upgrades and all that. And then these are to both the islands kind of thing. So we've got all the different areas over here. Can I just look at the other maps really easily? I actually don't know. It's fine. Oh, I'm not gonna worry about that. It's fine. But yeah, so we'll deal with all that next time. But we're gonna go out to the main map. But yeah, so we'll grab all our upgrades. So I made a lot of progress today. We grabbed, what, 3 or 4 upgrades. We finished 2 of the maps. We got all of their watchtowers. The first map we already had. So there's only 1 map that I don't have all the watchtowers grabbed on there. One of the maps we've already cleaned it out of all of its... Well, actually, 2 of the maps we cleaned them out of their upgrades and their vehicles, and I got 2 more to do. So as far as, like, the discovery phase of that, we're doing really good. But what's going to go ahead and happen now, for everyone over on TikTok and YouTube, for your end, the stream is going to end. For all of us over on Twitch, we're just going to switch games. And that's because TikTok and YouTube don't let me switch categories because they don't take streaming seriously. Yell at them, not me. And I will go and get things switched over on Twitch. So goodbye, TikTok. I'll see you in a few. And goodbye, YouTube. I'll see you in a few. For those who don't know, I do stream on all 3 platforms.